Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the show today. Very happy to have you here. It's been a week. We killed the dragon, and
We
they've been
did.
they've been conspiring.
We have.
They have, so it's okay. I'll just kind of sit back and let them conspire and let them have at what you want to do. But then again, today is going to be me letting them talk a lot. I
That's
have a
good.
feeling.
I'm glad.
So anyway, I need to go over here and hit the like and share button. So you guys please do the same. Let everybody know we're on. And we'll definitely be getting into the aftermath of a dragon fight, and of course, nearly 70 town folk dead, as well as a lot of money in of course structural damage, which is less important, of course. But nevertheless, tell them what you've been conspiring about so that I cannot talk.
Okay, well, a few things. We realized that Puffin has raised dead spell, and so that was something we would obviously be using. So that very first day, we would be raising Father Kent from the dead, and over the course of the next day, that we were still working on the getting everything situated, putting out all the fires and all that. We would also raise Lady Sherelle and the Magus.
Oh, good. They would also be able to get people up too and help, right?
Yes, so the plan is that we revive them, and then they cast a gentle repose, which allows us to expand the time on how long someone can be revived by our spells. So it expands the time by 10 days. And normally the Raise Dead spell has a limitation of somebody has to be dead within 10 days for it to, for it to work. So we can slowly start the process of reviving people. It'll cost about $50,000 a piece to revive everyone. But hopefully, what's up?
Father Kent can do that. Lady Sherelle cannot.
Oh, okay, she doesn't. Okay, well, Father Kent, even like just think about the time frame with those two up. That means 67 people are still down. So, and that's a ritual spell too. So 10 minutes, you don't have to waste a spell slot for it. So he should be able to maintain at least for now, and we can slowly whittle those numbers down. Because he once again he has 10 days.
Sure.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
no. I see the process you want to go after, and of course, Father Kent being revived would be on that. Now, you keep in mind that the highest level cleric anywhere near you that you know of is Puffin's character, Roland.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so this is a miraculous thing. You're going to be getting just, you know, litigiously. No, that's not the word I want. You're going to be getting a
Logistically?
pushback from the peoples because when's my person's turn, and why didn't you do this before, and all the kind of chaos that comes out of
True.
people.
True. Well, yeah, I'm sure we'll have meetings with the town and stuff. If you want me to make a persuasion roll to see how well we can uh you know alleviate the townsfolk's concerns, I'll do that.
No,
You know.
now the resurrection spell or raise dead spell
Yeah.
requires what component?
It is a $500, well, 500 gold, so $50,000. I think a gem, a diamond or something. But we have access to the capital. I'm sure we can get our hands on those. So.
And the interesting thing is I'm the only cleric in this region high enough level to actually cast Raise Dead.
Raised Dead,
You are.
a diamond worth at least 500 gold pieces, which a spell consumes.
So a $50,000 diamond.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty rare.
I would assume not so rare that we can't find them in expense in high value areas, because that's the equivalent of $500 or 500 gold.
Will
Yeah.
someone please do the math? 69 because my brain is not mathing.
I did the math last night, but I'll do it again because I forgot. Let's see. Let's see.
You mean you
so-
didn't write it down?
I know.
Wow, I'm
I'm
very shocked at you.
I'm terrible. All right,
Danny,
times 50.
the word would be disappointed.
3.45
Disappointed.
million. So 3.45 million is the number. Now, granted, this can happen over a very long period of time, so we don't have to have all the money right away because once again, gentle repose can kind of just reset the clock if it's used in the way we're using it. But we probably are going to want to, maybe when we go to the Dragon Horde, depending on how much we get, spend a little time,
Well, you already
helping.
you
We
already
do have a
have
lot
that
of
much.
money.
You already have that much anyway.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
effectively, the next month is spent toward this effort.
Uh,
And
yeah.
yeah, no, easily, if not more. But of course, I'm going to need some persuasion rolls to manage the people. Now, obviously, Father Kent being back up, Lady Sherelle, and the Magus. Uh, there, of course, people are going to complain that why them first. There's going to be humans humaning, right?
Yeah.
So, but everybody involved is going to have to kind of quelling and motivating the population. So,
I will.
I will require 4 of those rolls. So,
Okay. I'm assuming Badger. Would you like to roll or give me assistance on this so I don't have to spend a lucky to get advantage? Or
Yeah, I can
somebody.
roll.
Somebody.
I can
It
roll.
can be
Yeah,
a
I can.
Rune. Yeah. It doesn't matter, but I just need assistance. So okay. Just so I get advantage on my roll. 33 for the first roll.
yeah, that's of course
Second roll is a
plenty enough.
31.
Yeah, you're just dealing with people. Don't roll like a 15, I'd say,
28.
or 12 maybe.
I literally can't roll a 12. I have a 14 or plus 14.
Don't roll a 1 then.
All right, so 33, 31, 28, and 33.
All right. And of course, the other officials, including the Baron, who has the highest renown in Iron Pass. Well, he did. I think he still does, yeah. But you're able to not only, with those kind of roles, not only keep the people calm, but get them enthusiastic about what's going on. And of course, especially seeing as the Iron Company is spending all the money to make this happen. And of course, the Baron has spending the money via the state to begin rebuilding. And after a month, a lot of structural stuff is being rebuilt, and the little damaged stuff has been repaired. So 30 days is quite a bit when you have a motivated population.
Yeah, and during that, is it possible for during that time the Badger collect some tithes for this?
Guys, I'm the one bringing them
donations.
back from the dead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
donations. Yeah.
yeah, because I'm kind of scummy. No, I'm not going to do that. All right. Yes, I am. Oh fuck! What do I do?
All right,
No.
so
Well, no. There, the Father Kent would be on that anyway. That is his specialty. After all, I mean,
Okay.
he's a preacher. Their whole life is about collecting money. But so that wasn't narcissistic at all.
No, this is some good compliment.
Maybe a little.
A little bit, yeah. Well, do remember if you actually read any of the holy books in the world, which I've read them all, by the way, every single one of them tells you you need no building nor priest. Every one of them tells you that. This book gives you the law. It gives you the way examples of how to live your life, and shows you how to become one with God, the spirit of it, not the entity. It's interesting how they all do that, but yet there are buildings everywhere and priesthoods and bureaucracies. Anyway, that was a
Humans
tangent.
gotta. Yeah,
My
sure was.
my brain's working. Finally.
cool.
Hey, all right.
Congratulations.
And I helped.
Okay, so
Hey, Matt, you've been healed.
we'll assume
Hooray.
that we set aside because that is going to take a month, and we did want to get the Dragon Slayer thing done rather within a few days before anyone else can get to there first.
Well,
So
now hold on a second. You have a choice.
hmm.
You either save the town or you greedily pursue funds.
We save
Yeah.
the town, and then we will rob whoever goes after the dragon. That's okay.
That's our stuff, right? Is that what you're gonna claim? We killed the dragon.
Okay, how about this? I will send my closet in to keep an eye on
The horde.
to check out the place. Like to basically search around, snoop around to see what's there. Invisible, of course, dragons. If there are there, they have true sight, so whatever. But if it dies, I can just remake it. So, but I will have my closet there. Uh, looking around, keeping an eye on the place, making sure nobody else tries to stake a claim.
There ain't no thing we could do anyway if someone does go in there.
We could go there anytime we want to.
Dude, just save the people and we just move.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I have it there. It's searching around, so yeah. So let's see. We spent 3,450,000. So out of a total of 19.5. All right.
Feel like the government's probably going to be able to assist with some of this too, right?
Well, they are. Yeah, that's we're reviving people. The government is primarily focused.
No.
They
Hold on, let
don't
me
know
correct
it's
you.
all our fault
Yes.
either.
Let me correct you there. I'm reviving people.
Well, it's coming out of our funds.
Badger?
Is what I'm saying.
Badger? Oh no, sorry.
Yeah, that's my line, Puffin. Uh-oh.
All right. Minus 3.
Interesting.
Anyway, so a
right,
month
so
or
our
so
current-
passes. You guys are on this. You're all exhausted. You have taken many trips to Thizale itself, as well as Altair, and you've even, by proxy, with Lady's character, have gone over to the Gordati big cities, which there are many. Matter of fact, because she's kind of come with you in a couple places, and because she hasn't been outside of her empire, right? I mean, she's never been to the west, so I'm assuming Lady took an opportunity to go to Altair and
Yeah.
Thizale.
Yeah, she
and,
come with me.
she is impressed, Lady. You are impressed by the whimsical and quaint nature of the capital of Altair.
Okay.
But because you guys don't know this, but compared to the Gordati capital city, it is quite primitive in your opinion. But then again,
No running water, no hot and cold running water.
Give me a few minutes. I'll be back.
okay.
Okay.
Well, no. Your culture is more science based. It's techno magic, whereas
Okay.
these guys are much more magic. Science is a new thing. So your cities look more like, say, Chicago.
The trashy thing?
Chicago is one of the most beautiful cities on earth, lady.
Can we at least make it like 50s Chicago?
No, Chicago. I know. I know Chicago has its problems. I'm well aware, but Chicago is a very impressive place. Actually,
No, I know.
Architecturally,
the
that's
architecture,
what we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
architecture, infrastructurally, yeah.
I can talk all the crap because it's in my state. So
Sure, but it's also a very ancient city. It's it's one of those really big questionable who built that type of places.
yeah,
The Bears.
the Bears did. They were here
The
before all
Bears.
of us.
Did they build it?
All right.
Well, I mean, no, I'm not even kidding with that. You can go find the oldest maps we have in North America, and Chilago is sitting right there. And we have maps that of that area before supposedly the Columbus guy, and there's still a big city marked on the map called Chilago.
Started as a reservation, or not a reservation, but
No, it's marked as a giant city, as you would mark London or Paris.
hmm.
Yeah,
Well, it's not a bad place to put one.
No, it's an excellent place, and of course
Yeah.
the American history, world history is complete bullshit. So, but nevertheless, Chicago is one of those places.
Yeah. Well, I'm showing Lady the sites, and I'm going to be buying stuff whenever it's.
Sure. You guys are
True.
looking, and it takes a lot of work to get that kind of diamonds and negotiations and gathering, and it probably cost you an additional. With your persuasion skills, we'll say it cost you only an additional 10%. So add 10% to your costs, and you're good.
Okay, so an extra 340,000. Okay.
45.
Okay, could not
Yeah.
Mm.
diamond dust also be used? The amount of
That
I-
makes sense.
what's
It
what?
it isn't. It specifies a gem. It doesn't matter. This is
Okay,
logistics.
Yeah.
We're
okay.
just gathering that many high value diamonds is an effort, and all hands on board, as it were. But you have really good persuasion skills, and you have the money. So you guys are turning all the things you had in for money. You do all that kind of exchange. You do everything that you need to do, and by the end of the month. I don't see any reason why everyone wouldn't be back. But now you have a very serious problem. First of all, everybody gains 500 now.
Oh, sweet.
500.
Across the wait, with who though? That's the question.
With everything you have marked down
Okay,
inside
that's
of Iron
awesome.
Pass.
I had to start from scratch though, right? My character
Oh yeah,
Well,
with Iron Pass.
you just get
Okay.
500. Yeah.
what about the crown?
Everything you have marked down, you gain
Oh,
500.
okay.
This is
Yeah,
considered one of the greatest resurrection events in known history. There are news reporters and
So
journalists showing up. There are priests and coming. There's pilgrimages being set up. Legend is being written.
So, just to let you know, Chester,
Yeah.
throughout all of this, I am promoting my deity because I am technically his only follower, and through his or her power, this is all happening.
You're
Yes.
not his
No.
only follower anymore.
Thus the problem. So
Yeah.
during all of this, your god gains a lot of followers. And keep in mind, the by the end of this, by the end of the month, the migration of people and pilgrimage, which is kind of just starting,
One
is
be making this.
already in the
Oh my god.
thousands already. And of course, this is going to have mixed feelings throughout town. As far as Father Kent's concerned, he has no problem because the way God's Hall works, it represents all gods. So it doesn't matter which one is more important than the other. It's not how Kent and Sherelle approach things. And that, in their point of view, that's the wave or the circle of godhood. So the church doesn't care. You don't have any pushback against that. You might have pushback against other places, and we'll deal with that in the future. However, your god does gain a certain amount of converts. So give me a percentile die.
Okay.
So now I feel like I should spend all of Badger's funds
31.
on
Okay.
raw materials to build houses.
All right. Now, you are a follower of your god.
Hmm.
Has your wife converted over?
I would hope so.
And of course, you would assume you're raising your children that way. And how many do you have?
I have 3.
So that's 5
One boy,
people.
2
5
girls.
times 31 of the new converters
Okay.
that have joined your god. They're demanding a statue in God's Hall, which, of course, like I said, Kent and Sherelle have no problem whatsoever. But it has to be paid for.
I mean, are any of these throngs of pilgrims donating to rebuilding the God's Hall?
I would imagine, yeah, yeah. But and amongst those groups, you're able to raise money for a statue anyway, which is what Kent does. Let him handle it. But yeah, no, God's Hall, of course, is going to take longer than a month. But infrastructure stuff has already begun in reconstruction. It'll take, in some cases, a year or two to finish things, right? But you do have magic, so it won't take the decades that some things can cost in the past. But can time can the cost. But nevertheless, things are definitely on their way. There are pilgrimages incoming. and the uh, the the faith of what is the name of your god?
Um, I think originally I just knew her as like the Swarm Mother, but Oratel is her name.
Oratel. Well, it would be coming out now because she's happy, right?
Good.
She was almost gone, just hanging on by a thread, sitting in the popsicle seats. Now she's starting to come back up, so she's very happy. Nevertheless, wow, and I got work today. All right, that goes on, but you're starting to get other things happening, right? Um, like I said, there's a frenzy coming on the town. It hasn't even hit yet, really, because of what's happening here. Now, of course, that means there is no way that this is not being heard of by everybody everywhere, and that's not a good thing.
Here comes the demon girl.
Now, as it stands, you guys are the most popular people on Iron Pass aside of the Baron. He still has greater renown than you. But, he earned that over decades, right?
Mm-hmm.
But other than him, you guys are the bee's knees. Wow, that's
Excellent.
100 years out of date, huh?
Yeah, we were all a
Is
little
that-
sad to hear you say that.
Are those
I know.
are those the worshippers of Oratel? Are they bees knees?
They are.
They are.
They are
Mhm.
bees.
They're known as the bee's knees.
Yes, it makes sense. It makes sense.
That's canon now, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
I
Anyway,
they're beekeepers.
so ridiculous amounts of money have been spent toward this endeavor, and of course, it came out of the Iron Company, which has instaunched you as what you are. However, now there are expectations.
Yep.
The eternal city of Iron Pass, where no one ever dies.
No.
True.
There we go.
We really stepped in it this time, guys.
You did.
Fine. Let's just kill
We
everybody.
can't do this every week, everybody. All right, you need a little breather.
No, you realize what's going to happen now? If anyone has like a dead family member, they're coming
yeah.
to Iron Pass.
They are, and
If they want to bring a diamond with them, or two.
well, that good luck with that.
I'm just gonna start raising dead.
Right, and of course, keep in mind that with all the joy and happiness and expectation and natural greed of humans and all other species for that matter, you also got envy that is spreading amongst those who you were quite neutral to. So you've gained a lot of friends, a lot of allies, but you've gained a
And a lot of
whole bunch of
enemies.
enemies that you don't even know who are. But now, of course, this all kind of unfolds to you, and the wiser and more intelligent amongst you. It's not you, Badger. Um,
What?
become more and more aware of this as time goes by. But nevertheless, by the end of it, Iron Pass is probably the most famous place on the continent right now.
Now it's time for us to disappear.
Well, it is what it is. So, what is the renowned sitting? We'll go to GOP since he's been here since day one.
Okay, let me pull up my renown. Iron Pass, we are at 545, and
All right.
everything else is a little bit lower. The crown, I've got 550. Does our
That's not
renown change at all with the Thysians or Gordati?
Everything you have, I said.
Oh, okay, my bad. I wasn't sure if that was like specifically for. Yeah, never mind. Okay, so 500 across the board. Gotcha.
Yes. And I need to know what you have because I think there are other things you gained on.
Well, the highest one I have is
No,
545
just
from
list
Iron
them
Pass.
off. I need to know the list.
Oh,
please.
okay. So what I have is 545 from Iron Pass,
I don't need the
Vermilion Guard.
number. I just need the name.
Vermilion Guard, Farming Collective,
Yeah.
the Gods Hall, the Alterian Guildhall, the Crown, Cragmora, which I doubt we get anything from Cragmora, but or maybe we do because we had a -10 from them. Gordati. I've got gambling personally, but that was something we talked about before. And Thysians, or Thysian Kingdom, I should
Okay.
put.
And of course, you said Iron Pass itself. Well,
Iron
right.
Pass
Iron Pass was the
itself,
first thing.
and also you need, if you don't have it written down, you need to add the Sanctum.
All right.
Sanctum. Okay.
Do you have the Guild Hall?
The Alterian Guildhall, yes, I do.
Okay. Let's see here. These are all locals, so they all fall underneath Iron Pass itself. Write down the write down the Thessaly, or excuse me, the Onyx Circle. Or what is the name of your circle, please? No, you're not no longer playing that character. But what was the name of the circle, lady?
It was a moon circle, but Night Grove. I don't know.
That's fine. The Night Grove Circle. Add that. Everybody should be adding this, by the way.
But that's also
Alright.
still under the Iron.
Yeah, just add the other things.
These
yeah.
are specific organizations that I'm just adding.
That are local.
Let's see, and I think the last one would probably, well, that's, yeah, that
I'll be
place
right
is all wiped out. You do get as a gesture, lifetime shawarmas from Garth Blumett.
Oh yeah, that's worth everything. Can I just put renown at your old rapid dining at like infinity?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
sounds good. Sounds good. Let's see. I think I got everybody. Let me just go through here and make sure.
I'm just gonna put infinity.
And beyond. See what I did there?
Okay,
Yes.
I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. All right. So now another thing. You all, every single one of you, except for the priest who is married, and everyone knows that now. So even though the Baron was trying to kind of slowly, he gave a writ, but he was going to kind of slowly open up about your wife. Well, that's out now. But because of your renown, no one cares. Matter of fact, there's praise, and there's like, will the great Roland bring peace with the Green Elves? And now there's more expectation upon you. So Roland has all the pressure. However, everybody else, every single person in the realm is sending letters or giving flowers. Everyone wants to marry you.
Oh god, this is gonna be especially awkward for me considering I'm a lord. Well, but I'm not the only lord here, though.
I can disguise
Well,
myself.
don't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't. Oh yeah, that's not. Nobody knows about that, right? We don't know you're a lord in the other kingdom, do we? Because that would have been a question.
We know he's married to somebody.
Yeah, you don't.
We
You
do,
don't
but
know that. That's all still secret. Now, keep in
There ain't a
mind.
ring on my finger.
Well, the Altarian Kingdom, excuse me, Empire. It's long since that nobles only marry nobles. So that thought wouldn't even come in your head. That's no longer a practice, blood in, blood out type of thing, right?
yeah,
So that's not actually an issue. But you do have a lot of this because you guys are wicked famous. Do understand that over 150 renown is pretty good. It's pretty solid. You guys are all right now within the Altarian Kingdom Empire, which you live within. You are effectively, let's see, Matthew McConaughey.
all right.
Yeah, I was going to say Will Smith, but that's kind of drooped.
Yeah.
I chose my words very carefully there.
Yeah, no, we got you.
You are a man of culture.
Thank you. So you guys are really famous, and of course, there's a lot of good and bad that come with that. But you are getting a lot of proposals. And it doesn't matter whether your character's male or female. You're getting a lot of proposals. The one that is probably the most awkward is, of course, one of the resurrectees.
Oh,
And let me get back over there. I gotta really clean some of this out. There's a lot here.
Of course, it's
I
your
just clicked
world.
because I wasn't clicked over. I just clicked over and I just saw it was Garth Blubbett, and I'm like, well, I'm sorry, Garth. I don't roll that way. I lose my shawarma.
Let's see. How many other male characters are there?
There are two. But now Sally here, she's very, very thankful to be back alive. She's just indebted for life to every one of you, she has said. Keep in mind, she's a halfling, and they kind of roll that way anyway, right?
Yeah. To begin with.
Life
Yeah.
indenturing is kind of a halfling thing to do. Now, she would not ever dare to be disrespectful to the ultimate holy Roland.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Roland's gonna have a
I'm-
harem.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
because I'm a holy roller.
she wouldn't be.
Oh, okay.
Because
Would not
it is well known he is married, and everyone, and he is the holy of holies right now, right? And luckily, I did set up the God's Hall the way it is, so you don't have any jealousy coming out of the religious peoples because they
Fanatics.
don't work that way.
Right.
So that's good. But which one is Sally? Well, Sally has been, chatting with all her friends, and all the gossip is about. So you guys don't have any what are the words? Secrecies. You don't have any of those things. Those are gone. Every little bit of your life is being magically flash printed and written down. So it is known that let's go through the characters here and see what is known now to the general public. Uh, One of the fallen of the Iron Company shall ever be remembered. Matter of fact, a statue pops up.
Oh, really?
That's so nice.
Remember,
We
she
never
did
get her
the
soul back,
singing
but-
thing one time. Made
That's
the
true,
entire
but
group go around the street.
don't mention the soul part.
I don't.
Irune, the most eligible bachelorette in the Empire.
Ooh.
There are going to be a lot of princes coming up on white stallions, I have a feeling.
Oh. Blush.
Blush.
Right.
Blush.
Where is
Uh,
where is Melissa at?
Now-
The good thing about this is she might be busy, but that's all right. We're talking about her character. Lisse,
Okay.
where everyone in town just thought she was a slightly delusional halfling girl who was adopted by the Sundews. Now it is becoming official canon that she is a rare type of half elf. Of course. Of course. And she's also known to be single and therefore equally eligible. So we're going to have shorter men on shorter white horses or donkeys, maybe.
White ponies.
Right.
Shetland ponies.
There are many rumors about the young Lord Terador and his various involvements with. Nay, the devil? No, he's too kind and good and wholesome. But rumors are abound. Of course, city folk know more about the pilgrims coming in. However, it is known that he is single.
He is.
But he visits the whole place a lot, doesn't he?
No.
Oh,
He
rumors
actually.
are all over the place. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, there's
It-
rumors, but he never actually partook in reality
Well,
because his
now
heart
that's
is
not
set.
that's not what the Investigator magazine says.
Yeah, well, you
Look
can't
at the
believe everything
gossip.
you read.
Yes, it's also rumored that in the magically being regrown forest up by Wigwam's magical arts, there's a bat boy.
Well, it's neither here nor there. I mean, who my one true love is, but
Well,
I would expect
He's
honestly
not here right now.
out of character.
Thank you, Danny.
I would
Oh.
expect the Thysians would
Thank
be
you,
trying
Danny.
to
Danny gets
trying.
plus 200 experience points for that. Plus,
Yeah,
give you that. Yeah, it's good.
Good job, good
Good
job.
job.
well, and all these All these you forget there's also these women coming out of nowhere saying they have tater tots.
Right? It's like, well, I know I didn't do that. But no, I'm surprised that the Thysians aren't trying to do what the Thysians do. Uh, that was something like I would out of character would be expecting. But yeah, no, my character has his heart set on someone who is still his schoolboy crush, which is on his teacher,
Who was
Miss
resurrected?
Potts. Miss
Well,
Potts.
Oh no.
that's a move and done, I would say. But anyway, you are because you're Lord anyway. There's a lot of talk and stuff, and keep in mind newspapers and things like that do exist, right? Um,
Mhm.
we are basically kind of sat in the late 19th century, right? Is kind of our
Yeah.
setting. Iron Pass is a little kind of ye olde town. But this is not the Tolkien-esque high fantasy. This is not the world we're in, right?
Yeah.
So there are newspapers. There, like I said, electric lights have started coming in the West. Of course, the Gordati already have had it a long time. Nevertheless, a lot of people are talking about Lord Turador and his availability, and of course, you have been shipped with everybody, mostly men, though.
Oh God, it's always that way.
It is. It is. Well, you're too pretty. Look at yourself.
I know. I
Mhm.
can't help it.
He needs a scar.
Yeah. Right. Something to you know.
Right.
I'll help you
Jesus.
out.
Still can't change those
Yeah, I can
beautiful
help you.
lips. Look at that, and them.
He
Look at them
can't
eyes.
grow any facial hair. He tried. But
That's
it
fair.
just won't grow.
It's the
Look,
elven blood.
my homie
Hmm.
doesn't. Well, he needs a scar, but he doesn't need other things to be sore.
That's true.
Well, I'll protect you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
Now,
shave.
They will.
Don't shave with that blade.
Maybe some tattoos.
Actually, you know what? That's funny you say that because there are those magical tattoos that we can
Yeah.
get.
Spell
But that's
tattoos?
when we go shopping. When we do our shopping stuff, Chester.
Honey,
I'll
can
talk
make
to you
this
about
for
all
you.
that
oh, that's fine.
nonsense.
Well, let me get
So
through everyone, and
Chester.
then we'll go back to that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm on you, so go ahead, Puffin.
oh, okay. I was gonna ask because it's like technically I have that bank. How's that bank doing now?
In the red.
Do your rolls.
Yeah, just
In the
I
should
was
red
be
just
because you
should have
I was
been
lost.
just
doing your
wondering if
rolls all along, dude.
yeah, I think it was 3d6. I mean 3d6 times 1,000 is what it came out to because it was like times this and times that.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it's doing good now. I've
It's sure.
Well, I'm sure
made
it's doing
100,000.
better, especially because it has your name on it. And of course, with you, everyone knows of your unbelievably gracious and wholesome efforts to save the Green Elves. And of course, stories and little, dime store novels and type of things have been written about what's happening in Iron Pass, right? It's basically the Wild West for the people in the East, right? Or in the
Mm-hmm.
West, sorry. It's the Wild East, sorry. But everyone knows of your efforts and your holiness and your amazing power and all this kind of stuff. And the only real negative that you're getting in the tabloids is he doesn't really dress like a priest.
Yeah.
I do not. That is fair.
There's a
Mhm.
lot of fashion suggestions, and in
I
that, of
see.
course, male is a thing. And we have Dulpier, which is the city over the mountain. It's the one you guys have to kind of ride. Well, you don't have to. You guys have access to teleportation, but where the normal people have to kind of ride to the Dulpier city, which is technically an orc city, although it's a cosmopolitan place. But because that's up to this point, it's the last stop on the train, right? And that's where
Mhm.
Ooh.
people travel and then take the train to the west. Um, although that rumors are coming that that's going to change. The line will be continued to Iron Pass, and of course, there's also a lot of press going on about the Death Eaters. Who are they? What are they? And of course, that
Ooh.
brings us to the this illustrious and interesting Tivera.
What do you mean, disc speakers?
Didn't I say that?
You said
No,
Death Eaters, but
Oh,
that's
that
okay.
well, fair enough.
Fix
You
it in
know,
post.
that's
They have
okay.
a lot of needs.
They are
I think you forgot
quite
gunpowder.
they are quite different. But anyway, I haven't forgotten anyone. I will get back to it.
Okay. Okay.
But however, um, you of course there's a lot of chitter and chatter about you because there's certain people in the governments that know about the death speakers, of course. And there probably are rumors that have been talked about. Where this is mainly going on in the far west, right, of the empire, right?
Okay.
But of course, it's affecting you because people are showing up in Iron Pass, right? But there's a lot more conversation about the deaf speakers, and of course, no one knows you're called the Gordati outside of this room, as it were, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know from your old intel and orders given by the Baron Fedskith that you know it isn't quite sure the opinion on Gordati as to its desire to be well known. So this is troublesome. It's not your fault, but it is troublesome. But of course, there are many, many people trying to gain your hand as well.
It stays behind my back.
What
My
is that?
hand.
I see.
She means she's not gonna go for
I
it.
am
Yeah.
not currently looking for a relationship.
Well, no, you're on
Oh,
orders. You're on orders. But I'm just saying that's
Yeah.
what's generally going on. We also have the Badger. Now, of course, Badger still gets winks and giggles from the girls because you know girls will be girls. However, the main story running with Badger and his amazing stealth and scouting abilities, of course, is the wild whirlwind love affair with Dandelion of Tarish. They're
They
That
all
makes
writing
usually.
about it. Just so you know, Bill, your character's future has been completely laid out, including the type of house you will have and what the wedding dress should look like.
That's
The
fun.
question is, who's going to be wearing the wedding dress?
That's true. That's true.
But that's
Yeah.
not very.
Well, they're already married, so
Yeah, I know, but I'm just making a joke.
they need a
But
formal
of
Yeah.
ceremony.
course, but no. I get the various jokes, of course, but no, Dandelion is a barbarian warrior, but she's quite feminine, actually.
Yeah.
She's not a butch like a bull dyke or something like that. She's not like that at all. Although
Beautiful.
she was certainly under the influences of Cragmora and has done things like that. I suppose that is in her past, but no, I've never displayed her as not being feminine when it calls for it. If I have, then that was incorrect on my part. She is a hardened, badass barbarian warrior for sure. But she's also quite feminine. She doesn't take that role. He's the dude, and she's the lady. She likes dresses. But
Mhm.
that's the main
Well,
conversation between these two. And of course, I do believe it rounds out with this mysterious giant Rocky Man, which no one knows anything about. But of course, Shamara Skull Ripper. Now, Shamara,
I probably would
um,
go for him.
maybe. But of course, there are a lot of stories about her extra adventures, which she's been having. But of course, it's equal here with Shamar, because keep in mind, there are wild orcs and dangerous orcs, of course, but the orcs of Tarish have long ago come with treaties with the Altarians. And are effectively part of the Altarian kingdom. Although the Tarish plains are kind of considered like a reservation in a way, although it's not officially titled that way. So the orcs of Tarish do run the Tarish plains, but they are technically part of the Alternate Empire. Trade is free and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, the last stop on the train, which this is is called the Arc train, and basically you have these stones on the ground, and there's magical plates on the train, and it's like a monorail. It hovers over the stones. There's no it's the same thing, but it's magicy. Um, but the last
Magic.
stop is in Dulpir, which of course is the great mighty city of the Tarish.
cool. Nice.
And actually, several of you have probably been to Dulpier. Dulpier is way bigger than Iron Pass. As a matter of fact, Dulpier is probably similar size to Thizale. So,
Hmm.
I think I covered all that. People on the side, one thing that has happened this time is you've drawn one of your high school buddies back. Nandy Solm shows up after a couple of years you haven't seen her. She was training in the West, so you knew where she
Right.
was, and you got the occasional postcard. But
Right.
she's another halfling you went to school with. She was not born here, but she's been with you since you guys were kids. She came in with the the halfling migration. Of course, but she's came back to see what the hell you're all up to. She's a bit of a spark plug type of firecracker type. And she's quite miffed that she's been left out of all the fun. I've been doing boring training for a year.
What was her?
Been training for 3 years and you fought a dragon!
That's right. That's basically it. Yeah. Um, Sindiri, of course, one of your friends, has got caught up in this as well, simply because she's technically a member of the Iron Company, right?
And she made my
And she's done a lot of stuff, and she's getting shine as well. And of course, Rathi is getting shine also. But the difference between probably all of you and Rathi is she takes to this like a duck on water, right?
Yeah.
She is made for celebrity. She is made to be in the spotlight. And you're actually shocked how well she does interviews and talks it up. And you're pretty sure half of the rumors have been started by Rathi.
Confront her about that
Yeah.
in private.
Well, she's just being herself. You guys, that's her character, right?
Oh,
All right. So I think I
Chester.
covered everything. Now
Rem-
the Baron.
Chester.
Yeah. Hold on a second. I just want to make sure I get everything done. The Baron, of course, has gotten shine simply because his kid's involved, his city is involved. A lot of stories are going on about the the fame and how honored the great Baron Theridon Sewell is. So his star has actually risen as well, which he's probably a little miffed about because he's not that type of dude. Let me
No.
see here. There have been rumors going around about where the Baroness is. Vintian has been trying to be camera shy, but not having very much luck. There's actually an interview in one of the newspapers with Lord Cirrus. He's captain of the Vermilion Guard. He didn't have much to say, it seems, but they filled in the editorial as they do. And there's been many other conversations with town folk about what they think of the Iron Company and yada, yada, yada. The only one that maybe had raised any kind of eyebrows to you would be. Let me get through this first here. Which one here?
The guy
Oh, yeah, here we
on
go.
the Hopper
No,
Ferry.
no, no, Larissa. Now, you guys have spoken to Larissa the Oracle before. She is the Oracle of Iron Pass. Now, keep in mind the shamanistic culture and religions are still well and strong, even though we're coming into a modern age, right? You're basically seeing an industrial revolution pop in front of you, right? And Larissa, though, is not as bubbly and poppy and happy as everybody else. She foresees great doom coming.
More? Oh.
Okay, now puff and go.
Oh, it's just a couple things that I want to do. But first one, remember, I have that glamoring armor, so I can make it look like priest wear.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying you're getting taunted because of your non-priestly. You're a holy man. You're one of the most holy men of all holy men. It's not really true, but you know how the press is, and who knows how long it'll last. But in the press, the main complaint is he looks a bit rough for a priest.
That's true. I do.
Those
I
arms.
do need to do something with this promotion while I have it, because I'm technically now the high priest of my deity's religion.
Oh, most certainly. But you've been that way from day one because you're the only one.
Yeah.
But things
Yeah.
are changing.
Profit. So I guess I need to put up a school for clerics
That would probably
or
be smart.
paladins.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you
Mhm.
guys hit the iron while it's hot is kind of this thing going on, and you guys are hot.
Yeah.
Now, if
Mhm.
you do some major screw up, your renown can go down. But in general, renown kind of just is a very stagnant
That was
thing most of
sad.
the time, right? Um,
Mhm.
but logistically, it's you guys are super hot right now, and you'll be that way for probably a half a year or maybe more, right? But you know how the whims of the press is.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Chester.
Yeah.
Without going in too much of the book work, I was gonna say I'd like to since I have the outfitters business.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of people moving here.
Hmm.
Um, start working with the town, I guess the Baron, and plotting out land to build housing and structures and supplying materials for that. And
Oh,
you
through
wouldn't mind
your company, I get it.
through my and using my resources to get the
Sure,
raw
sure, sure.
material.
No,
Typical
well,
politician.
no, it's not a bad idea at all.
Smart.
It's smart. And of course, he does smile because, he's a good man, but he does those things all the time because that's politic, the nature of it. So he says that is a fine idea, young man. And he basically puts you. Uh, I can't even. Where's your character? Oh, there he is.
Well,
Um,
and the idea for
no,
me
I get
though,
what
I
you're
mean,
saying.
is well, yeah, but for the nature of the place, it's like if we're going to get overrun with people and the town is changing, I want to make sure that it's not chaotic and damaging. So I'm doing this in it's not altruistic, but it's beneficent. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like I'm going
yeah,
to make money
yeah. We'll
doing it,
give you
but
whatever nice words you'd like. But he put you with Vintian, who is a master of these things,
okay.
right? And Vintian loves the idea. And matter of fact, he offers to go 50-50 with you.
Oh, as far as like what he'll put up for it,
Yep.
yeah, whatever we can do, man, that's going to be great.
So you and he, create a new department in Iron Pass. What shall we call it? He says.
The projects.
Okay.
Caprini Green.
The projects. So write that down, please. The projects department has been put together, and you two together are working on scoping out some land and putting resources equally 50-50. And keep in mind, Vintian is this kind of guy. He loves jumping on a deal, but he's not a scumbag, right?
No, neither am I. We just rough. We're
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
serious.
But you guys are going over maps and looking at potential places. So let's see here. Where's a good place to be for this new department of projects? Um,
You know, if they need funds, I can offer my bank for loans.
Well, we have a couple locations because we've got the coast, that wooded area on the
uh-huh,
north
uh-huh.
east
Yeah.
is actually could be one area, and then um, over by the gourd mine, that land is that really hilly? Is that what you're
It
saying
is
there?
very hilly, yeah.
Okay, so that's not going to work
It
too well.
is the hill drop off from the mountain range. That's where the mountain touches Iron Pass is up in that area. But so that would be more troublesome and therefore more expensive. But you do have a
Tower.
couple of areas. I think the one north of God's Hall is the best place. And
Yeah,
of course, right now there's lots of resources and monies coming in from the West for the rebuilding of stuff that was destroyed. So it's a perfect time to get in on that. Using Puffin's Bank as as the bank is not a bad idea, right? And
yeah. I
Vintian
mean,
doesn't disagree with it because it's 50-50. So what does he care? But yeah, all right. So through Iron Fitters, whatever Puffin's Bank is, and the Lord's Keep itself, the new Department of Projects is building new homes for sale. A suburb is being built, and you are now a land miser. Nice.
Yeah, and we could also do a new port too, because that was also. I mean, you got location.
You do,
Boom.
and of course, the idea of Badger becoming a landlord, not shocking.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
That all
Now,
said.
which is funny because I'm a landlord.
Shocking. But during all this, I'm also thinking, if we're spending all this time developing the town, it didn't take long for our enemies to lay waste to it.
Yeah.
It's not going to take long for them to have a reprisal. And here we are mending ourselves, but we need to be proactive at the same time.
Oh, the
That's why
Baron
I
is
wanted to go.
already doing that.
Yeah.
That's fine, but he's we're the Iron Company, right?
That's fair. You guys can do stuff on your own. Just to let you know what the Baron is doing in that regard, there are around town a series of watchtowers being built as part
Fantastic.
of the rebuilding. And also from the around now the end of the month, you have a detachment of fresh recruits from the west have come into Lord's Keep, and they are being dispersed between Lord's Keep, Guild Guards Hall, and Fort Iron. And also the Thysian kingdom to the north has graciously sent a detachment of 1,000 archers. And
Ooh.
these
Yeah.
archers are not all in Iron Pass. They are around the area. But basically, yeah, security around this place has I don't know, decatupled.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Um, so then with all these troops, I would also, kind of tug on Ventian a little bit and say, hey, I think we might need a PX close to the barracks.
Hmm.
That
Hmm. Hmm.
and I tap the shoulder of ye old fast delivery or fast
Oh yeah,
eatery
yeah, Garth. Yeah.
and Garth, you can, cut me into 20%. I'll get you set up right here by the barracks with shawarma.
Give me a persuasion check, please.
Sure.
He was planning to expand anyway.
He was.
But I'm getting him in front of the troops that are hungry.
Yeah, no. I understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just give me a roll.
Rolling. Not bad. 22.
Okay. 18%.
18. 19.
All right, fine.
All right, fine. Thank you.
All right, so we
Cool.
have a PX, and of course they're expanding the guards hall there as well for new troops and things that are coming in, and of course in a way this has been a strange boost to Iron Pass because there's a lot more going on right now. It's all in its inception, of course, but that was a lot of work between you, Vintian, and a little bit of Puffin as well toward not only broadening Iron Pass and lifting it, but also broadening your pockets,
Well,
which
yeah,
is good.
and I'm
Indeed.
sure we could we could get into that too. But I think it'd be more better use of our. Something else Badger is working on is um, his next target, which is Wetton.
Right. No, I
Um,
understand all that. We'll get into that, but
Yeah.
let's
Well,
do this cleanup first because we need to have it cleaned up. There's a
okay.
yeah.
lot of loose ends. Let me get this cleaned up today, if you don't mind.
Oh no, not at all. Just
And
saying
Cool.
that would be something that's concurrent.
yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah.
so.
But I need to
Okay.
know how much money do you have yourself at hand?
I've got about 2 million.
2 million, okay. And of course, Vintian can match that with ease. You also can have financing. Now, Mr. Bankman, how much money is in your bank for financing?
Well, let me see here. I got a lot of rolls that I need to make for it. So,
Well, let's get all
I
that
would
done. Everybody
say,
who has stuff going on, skill enhancements, businesses, all that stuff, make sure all your rolls are done. Do them now. Get all that done,
Mhm.
everybody.
Oh, mine are all done.
Okay, because I know Honey's got a bunch of stuff. Honey's probably the richest person here. She
I'm actually
should
surprised.
she should be a
Bill,
millionaire. Yeah.
I've got 1.7. I'm surprised he has 2. That's crazy.
Well,
Well,
things end up in his
Yeah,
pocket.
that's true. It is true.
my wife was rich, and she's into this too.
I am curious if I could ever, because I had mentioned it in the past, but we didn't really do anything with it. Now with my renown, I want to try and get into like a really high stakes poker, or equivalent to poker game kind of thing.
Mm-mm.
Because gambling
do
is
it.
my jam, and I'm
Don't do
great
it.
at it.
Don't do it.
It doesn't seem like the right amount that I'd be getting. I think by this point with whatever we say, because it's like the money that's coming in doesn't line up with the
Yeah,
money I
but
was
you're
making
not
before. So
multiplying it by 100, are you?
I'm not.
Yeah, well, you should be,
Okay,
because
so
that's all in gold. Gold
okay,
is times 100 because we're dealing with dollars. So
okay,
everything you
so
have is times 100, right?
okay. Well, then my money that I'm getting is a lot more. I have. I'm just gonna keep it the same because I think all these rolls are the same that I have. If this is multiplied by 100, then let me just do the calculator real fast because my brain is pudding too. I just came back from Georgia.
It's all good.
Let's see here.
I'd ask Chester
I
to
wouldn't
sing.
say
Then
pudding, I'd say peachy, but okay.
Yeah.
There
okay,
we
I've been
go.
peachy. So if I multiply the money I have now by 100, I have $11,407,600.
For a bank, that makes sense.
Yep,
Okay.
And
that's
of
bank
course, a
money.
lot of that growth has happened here quite recently. And
Yep.
because keep in mind, I know that sounds like a lot of money for anyone who's a D&D'er, but think in modern terms because that's how we're playing the money. It's as if it were today. So $11 million sounds great. It's not. It's not. That's
You
actually a
divide it by
very,
100 to get the gold
we're
number.
right, but that's also a very poor bank.
Yeah.
But it's a
Mhm.
little
In
town
gold
bank, so it's
standards.
perfect. It's like a co-op bank. It's an agricultural bank, right? But yeah, that's not actually a lot of money. Um, Now, of course, you have that going on. Everybody else should be doing the stuff that they're supposed to be doing. Please make all those rolls. So you definitely have enough financing. And Badger, you're not correct about Dandelion's money. She was excessively wealthy. Now, of course, the prince is in the way of her land and certain things like that she can't deal with right now. However, her money was insured by the Gordati themselves,
Oh,
the
because she
actual
was able
empire.
to. You
And
told me she
she's,
was able. Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, she's worked all that out in the interim. Whilst you're all doing your stuff, she's take care of her own business too, right? Because I mean, she is a very capable, independent person, right? And she is able to get her bank funds. The rest of her stuff has either been burned down or seized or what have you, and that's going to have to be dealt with later. But she does have bank funds, and of course that is insured by the Gordati, and of course she has direct contact to the Gordati, which is handy. Actually, I'd say she's probably got like, I don't know, she's worth probably 5 million in the bank.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
can watch that for her.
I mean, that's fine too. You're the bank, right?
Yeah.
Indeed.
And what is
Which
the?
reminds me, I need to invest in some bank guards.
Well, I
Yes,
don't think. Would
you can
sorry,
work that
go
out
ahead.
on your own. But
Yeah.
we
Okay.
do need to work out one other thing as far as investment. So let's see what your economic acumen is there, Puffin.
Mhm.
What is your
Okay.
intelligence?
Oh God.
Mhm.
Can I use my wisdom?
No.
Okay, my intelligence is 10.
Okay.
The-
Therefore, it has been suggested to you by everybody involved that you should probably hire a bank manager.
I want to hire the dragon girl
Rathy?
eventually.
Mm-mm.
Does she have a high intelligence?
She's the
Probably
eyeliner.
not.
No.
She's a she's a
She's
I thought she was
sorcerer.
a
she's a
wizard. Oh,
glamour
she's a
queen.
sorcerer.
Anyway,
Yeah.
no,
Thought
that
she
would
was
be
a
Bad.
mage or something.
I
No,
don't know
she's a
who has a high
sorcerer.
intelligence.
She's charisma based.
Charisma. Yeah.
No, that wouldn't
Oh.
be a good choice. However,
Oh.
I don't know.
Who could be a very good bank manager for you is one of your childhood friends who's just returned to town, Nandy Solm.
I thought she
She's
was a fighter.
Yeah, but she's wicked smart though. That's why she's
Let's
the only one who got a scholarship to go to the West out of all of you. Just her.
Okay, I will talk with Nandy
And
And
about
she'd be
becoming a
good
bank
for
manager.
now Nandy has trained with the Royal Guard and all those kind of things, but Nandy has become disillusioned with that life, and she's not that interested. And it's probably in your conversations with Nandy, it's because she really likes the city life, and camping out in the woods suck.
Mhm.
She hates being a bivouac. She hates all that nonsense. She's a pretty good fighter. I say she's probably third level fighter. But she's gone through her training and stuff like that, so she is capable compared to the general population. But she would be very much up for a different course of to her life. And Nandy is wicked smart. She's got a 16 intelligence, and she is very good at that kind of stuff. So Nandy would probably be a good choice for bank manager, and therefore you need to make a roll off of Nandy. Um, there is another Cragmorian person that Jason, could probably bring in, which would be the better choice, actually. Hold on a second. Give me a minute. I got to find that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, she's not the best choice. She's the second best choice because the best choice is the guild's lead accountant, Erwin. Now, Erwin, of course,
yeah.
is the guild accountant in Cragmora, and therefore you would think he would be out of bounds. Of course, Jason is an amazing accountant as well, although he's basically a spy master. Erwin has some of those skills as well, but he is an actual accountant, and he and Jason are best friends. So Jason could easily pull him over to help with you guys, and he'd be very happy to be out from underneath the prince. This guy is the accountant of accountants. He's literally the accountant of Cragmora. So you couldn't do any better. He's going to be expensive, though.
How much is he?
Let's see, 10 grand a month.
Ooh.
That's fine.
With how much money your bank is raking
Well,
in,
that's
at
what
least
I'm
for
saying. With this is the with Nandy, you're giving a friend a new job, and that would be great. But she's only going to be able to pull 5% return for you, whereas Erwin will be able to pull 10%, consistently.
That's a hard choice.
Double
I'm gonna
double the money.
hire.
Double the money.
Yeah,
Hire
double
them
the
both.
money.
How
I
much?
think I'm gonna hire Erwin to be the bank manager. I'm gonna hire Nandy to be. I could potentially hire her to be security.
And assistant bank manager. She can learn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
And then she can open another branch somewhere else.
Maybe.
Yeah, there you
All
go.
right, there you go. And the good thing with Erwin is not only will he be able to interact with the Altarian stock markets and banking infrastructures, he, of course, is already tied into the Gordati ones. And keep in mind, the Gordati are not your enemy. The
No.
prince is,
No, they're-
right?
Yeah.
And of course, he'll be
Right.
able to break into the Thysian as well. This guy right here will be able to consistently bring 10%. So 10%, not only for your investors, but for yourself, right? That's across the
Mhm.
board. So you're looking at a 10% investment increase for all investors, and of course the bank itself, with a 5% residual. Just make sure you write all this down. Goodness
What's a
gracious.
residual?
Bank reserve,
Okay.
Yeah.
5%. Yeah. Goodness gracious. All right. So I think that's enough for the banking. We don't need to get too deep in it. We could. I could do it.
We could.
I'm
That's-
It'd
here.
be fun.
Okay.
Would it
So-
heal your brain?
No, it would. Well, my brain's obviously working better because I'm, it's better. But nevertheless, all right. So I'm trying to get through all this stuff. Rune,
Yes.
hi. It's been a crazy
Hi.
month. All these guys are taking money up, and they're making money. Your fellow iron companiers are rolling in it, which you may or may not find distasteful. But nevertheless, you have Bill is making some amazing investments. Puffin is doing it so as well. I got to get to everybody here, so it's going to take a minute, but that's all right. We need
Hmm.
these kind of things, and I'm kind of thinking a month was probably too short. It's probably a little longer, but we are on a time constraint. Anyway, Erune Sundu. During this month, of course, you are helping kind of set up a hospice tent station area because they were using the barracks, the guards hall, as an
Hmm.
overflow. But of course, in hindsight, turned out really good because you've been able to resurrect everyone. Which for your
Yeah.
character, this is the greatest thing you and your friends have ever done.
Yeah.
Obviously, right? Now, what I do need to know is what is Irune doing during that time, other than helping, because everyone's busy. It's a crazy month, right? But is she doing anything for herself? Is she doing anything business wise or anything like that?
Hmm. I I was kind of thinking, well, she's for a while there, she might have been just about the only healer left if she was the only person who ran out of God's Hall to fight the dragon. So she might have been very, very taxed
I
trying
would,
to.
yes, you have been. Everybody has been. Yeah, you and Puffin, the
Right.
probably the most taxed out of the group, right?
Mm.
That's true. That's true. And keep in mind, your sister, because of the new
Mhm.
fame and all the publicity that's going on, her business is just booming, right? She already probably was the richest member of the company, I would imagine. But she's just making him money hand over fist right now, and so is Sindiri.
That's great.
Yeah.
I hope they'll be able to get some upgrades to their shops
They
because
are.
they're.
Sinderi
Oh,
is upgrading the
cool.
shop. She's brought on a total of 5 new workers. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. But my question is not about them. What is it
Hmm.
Rune doing?
Um, I was feeling like she's at this point pretty drained. Like she has a place that she sanctuary she kind of goes off by herself to try and revive, but she just hasn't had that time to. So I thought um she might go into the cat keep and ask if she'd be able to put up some kind of a temple or some kind of a sanctuary in the town so she could hopefully revive for a bit. But it sounds like everything's back up on her feet. Anyway, so I guess she doesn't need to do that.
No,
Um,
all structures are being rebuilt via the state, of
oh, that's
course.
great.
But that doesn't mean she can't do her. You are a paladin, so that is out of all the players here, money is the biggest issue for you because being
Mm,
a paladin, paladins tend to be paupers, right?
they don't need
The
anything. That's true.
acquisition of wealth is frowned upon.
Mm,
Those kind of things. So playing a paladin and having a rich paladin is kind of an oxymoron. Um, but what paladins usually do is they put their
mm,
money into infrastructure, right? Whether it be a temple
mm,
or a church or say a paladin training house or something like that.
mm.
Paladins don't tend to keep money in their pocket; they invest it because
Put it
one of
in.
the things of being a paladin is a life of service, therefore not a life of gain.
Yeah, that's true. She sees her returns coming back in people who are healed and hearts that are mended
Sure,
and smiling faces and all that sort of thing.
but that doesn't
Yeah,
mean you can't
is that
invest your money into something useful.
right? Well, that's true. Well, I was thinking she's a potion maker and she's been selling her potions with her sister.
Sure.
So they've kind of been working on that. So that's kind of what I figure she's probably been doing. So
Okay.
I don't know how improving your store would work or if she can like make more potions or maybe if there's more people coming in from like people who are like druids or any of the maybe the green elves who are getting turned around, maybe she can train them to how to make healing potions and things like that and start making more medicines for everybody.
Well, we only have one green elf, but interacting with Puffin's wife in that way would probably be a great thing. Puffin.
He's muted.
I know.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. So his wife is probably working with you guys because I do believe she is like a druid or something, isn't she?
He is a
Yeah.
druid.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, she could definitely balms, ointments, elixirs and things like that are definitely up her alley. And of course, she's been interacting with the circle here as well. The I forget what it's called, the circle. But
Hmm.
yeah, no, she would certainly could be working with you guys in that regards. And like I said, Lisey's business is popping. One of the things that, of course, this isn't you, but one of the things that Honey should probably be doing is because she doesn't have the time or the expertise, hiring someone to interact with the three nations that are involved around you, and acquiring more exotic goods, trade rights, all those kind of. You need a business manager to
Right.
expand. So I would assume that Lissay would be on that and hiring
Mm.
someone to do that, uh, which you could tell Honey this. Uh, excuse me. In
Thank
regards to
you.
you, though, so
Hmm.
you're just helping with the potion making and healing and just exhausted. That's it.
Well, I mean, I was kind of thinking she might be able to start like open a temple or something like towards if she's going to be spending a lot more time in Iron Pass actively working and helping towards others, it might be nice if she had her place of rest closer to town.
Sure.
Mhm.
Um
Um, you wouldn't build
Who
a
is
temple
Irune's
though.
deity?
I don't think she's ever told me.
Because if you want to affiliate yourself, um, I can finance perhaps a hospital or a potion reserve where
A
you could
hospice.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
oh,
hospice where you basically make potions with my wife and balms, and if anyone gets sick and we have extras, or if it's ever attacked, you can just start passing out healing reagents that would take trips to the capital to get normally. And that
oh,
way you could save a lot more lives a lot faster. And then
Right.
I could give you a budget to where you could hire nurses and workers, and it would be on a what do you say, a volunteer basis instead of a community.
Sure.
Like we would pay for their food and people staying there, but it would be volunteer work
Well, you
so that.
know, even further
Mhm,
than that, Puffin, because keep in
mm,
mind,
mhm,
in our map here, let me go back to the map. And by the way, for those of you guys listening, this is D&D.
mhm,
This is what fifth. This is what fifth edition doesn't get. This is what those assholes over at WotC don't get. This is D&D,
mhm.
right?
it's fun.
It is,
Yeah,
but there's such jagoffs over there. Anyway, let me bring up
Um,
this is what you do with your characters. This is exactly D&D. Anyway, um, now keep in mind this is a good point that Puffin's making,
Hmm.
because God's Hall, of course, is being rebuilt. It's going to take a while, but there is full force and behind it, so it'll be quicker than say normal. However,
Right.
God's Hall has always been doubling as a hospice. Having an actual dedicated hospice built near God's Hall would be really good idea, especially seeing as the town is booming anyway, and now it's extra booming because of you, right?
Oh,
Would be a
wonderful.
great idea, and also,
Mhm.
one thing that God's Hall doesn't have is a nunnery.
and you can be Mother
Oh,
Teresa.
You could.
that
No, seriously,
sounds
there is no nunnery here.
that
plus
sounds like a
two.
real good.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Oh,
I
no,
can
you're fine.
potentially say you could become a nunnery affiliated with my
Or
deity
maybe we should change that to monastery.
monastery.
Because in the way God's Hall works, they you don't it isn't so like the Catholics. It's not just male or female. So it would probably be a monastery would be the better word, not a nunnery. But yeah, neither one of those things exists here. So building a monastery attached to a hospice would be a very good move for the future of Iron Pass, and of course also the future of Irune.
Oh,
And
that's mm,
also, you could have, I mean, because as a mean, since we have so much fame around us, anyways, and for healing and
mm,
all that stuff, using that fame to our advantage and would probably bring people in from all over the empire,
right.
people with money to come in, and you could use that money to then, help.
Help more people.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
trickle down economics, you say?
Oh,
As
right. It's
long
almost like
as
it's a
well,
thing.
Yeah.
yeah, as long as
Like
it
those Austrians had something
Now, yeah, who knows? Those
going on.
Austrians and
I
their
said
crazy
Yeah.
something.
ideas.
They're
Yeah.
crafty.
Yeah, they are
I can
crafty.
do bank
I'm gonna put
collection
water on the boil. I need some hot coffee. You
here.
guys help her
Sounds good.
work that out, please.
So, Irune,
Hmm?
we can start up this hospice and stuff and start a monastery for the God's Hall.
Mm.
And you can become the leader of that and potentially the leading, one of the leading religious figures in this region.
That would be wonderful. I always thought she was trying to figure out basically how to help people to make potions and heal the sick, but she's just been pretty much wandering and trying to figure out where the sick people are and if people kind like some people I think in town sort of know who she is, but she's a little bit of a loner, but people who know who she is know that she can heal any disease with a touch. So even if she's not really very well known,
She's
if
a
you're in a
high
pinch,
she's a
They're
high
gonna.
charisma paladin. Yeah, I mean maybe
So, probably the best thing is now that we're so famous, people are going to start bringing their sick to you. And that's the
yeah.
thing is you could begin your own holy order here.
so here's my question though. What so
Mhm.
what god do you follow, by the way? Because I don't think we ever actually got that established.
I don't
Um
think we actually, if you're good, neutral, or evil, is basically
yeah, but
she's
you should like
obviously good. That's it. I don't think she knows the variety of different deities, and because of her own Amy's own personal
Mhm.
faith, she doesn't want to establish that.
oh
Understand what I'm saying?
yeah. No, I get that.
Okay. Is that pretty much
She
right,
worships the creator.
Amy?
I'm
Yeah.
going to give
What did I walk
Arune.
Well,
into? I have water on the
Uh,
boil. Someone should be counting.
we're just,
oh, okay.
we're just, yeah.
It's been 2 minutes.
What?
Well, it
That
was 8:20 in my clock when you got up to go put the water on,
Well, I
and
just
now
put
it's
it on, so it's now
8:22.
I need 2 minutes. I just need
Okay,
to pay attention. I
8:23.
got headphones on. I can't hear. Woo, I can't hear that. But
Yeah.
anyway, what decision we come up with, Arune here?
I
um
gave her a pamphlet about my deity. I don't.
Oh, fair. But I'm so what do you decide to do, Amy?
um well, I think we're talking about building a hospital
Hmm.
for everybody because I mean, if we're a place where it's known for there to be, healings, then I'll eventually be able to revive people too, but paladins take longer.
Sure.
Well,
But
she
are you
yeah,
okay? So are you building just the hospice, or a hospice and a monastery? Which?
that's a place for people who want to dedicate themselves to the service of God, right?
It's a place
A
for
monastery?
training for people who dedicate themselves to the gods. Yes, it's a training place. As of now, the gods hall they have here is just a temple, a church, where people come and
Mm.
their statues of their gods, and Father Kent and Lady Sherelle give guidance. They're kind of like a psychiatrist in town, basically. And there's a few helpers, but there is no monastery. So a monastery is a place where it's going to have teachers will be attracted, and of course students. So people who are studying to be cloistered priests or nuns, and of course clerics as well for training. Yeah. But
For the
you don't. It's a
healers,
university
right?
for. It's a. Like my brain, come brain. What's it called? What's the
It's a
what's the
school for
Protestant
clerics?
word for?
Seminary.
Thank you. That's the
Seminary.
word. Seminary. It's
Ah, oh,
seminary.
it's seminary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
Cool.
good.
Yeah.
So, like a hospital with a seminary? That sounds like that would be really good.
How much money does your character have?
I would have to go look that up. I don't have it on this sheet, but it would be pretty well, probably pretty close to what everybody else has.
I would assume. Really, the ones who have been doing business stuff are going to be much higher than everybody else. But yeah, I'm sure you have quite a bit of
Mm.
money. But putting that toward that, getting investment from Roland's Bank, which is the major bank in town now, And also, speaking with Father Kent and all those kind of things. Matter of fact, let's do that. Go and have a conversation with Father Kent and give me well, I guess it's a persuasion roll, even though, yeah, it's a persuasion roll. Go ahead and give me a roll. That's charisma based. If you
Okay.
have the skill of persuasion, of course, it adds to it.
Oh, of course. 4, and then 4, and then 5, and then I think I did this right. Yeah.
Okay, that's
23?
fine. Well, Father Kent says, and Lady Sherelle is involved in the conversation as well. Of course, they're very appreciative of being alive, for one. Uh, but uh, but as far as that goes, Father Kent has been wanting to build that for a very long time. They just do not have the funds for it. He's a slightly miffed, but he is a man of God and controls his emotions very, very well. But you can tell he's slightly miffed because so many monies have gone into other things in Iron Pass, but the gods have not been respected, in his opinion. And he's probably
And
right.
the sick
It's
cared for.
what do you say?
And the sick cared for. We have more money going into
Right.
wounding people than we do healing them.
Right, and he agrees with you 100%, as does Lady Sherelle. Although, keep in mind, Father Kent is your standard pastor, right? He's like
Mhm.
any small town pastor you've ever met, right? Lady Sherelle is a militant cleric,
Mm.
so she's much more like Puffin, right? But she doesn't disagree at all. Um, she thinks there needs to be more training because of the violences of the East. There needs to be more training for clerics to be able to protect the people. That's her take. But in general, you all
Yes.
agree. So Father Kent, he thinks with your renown, pushing the
Mhm.
Western Church and possibly getting some donations or involvement from the Thysians as well is something that you could be very useful to do to gather in monies and get this built. So they agree. And therefore, you're going to have to, during this time, Jason send you to a couple places with Father Kent to make pleas. So I need 2 more rolls, please. Oh,
Okay.
my water's boiling.
Uh,
Hold on.
okay. So
Too
the
hot
same
now.
charisma rolls?
It's been 5 minutes. He's in trouble now.
He ruined another pot.
Ooh,
Oh no.
He's only 3 minutes over.
I guess I'm making the
Yeah.
same persuasion rolls?
Yeah, persuasion.
18, 19.
20.
You've got expertise in persuasion too. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yay. I think I'm doing this right. Okay. I think so. How many times was I supposed to roll this?
Did you say 3 or 4? I don't recall.
He's been making everyone do 4.
Okay, sorry about that. So yes,
Oh,
those are enough. You actually have a meeting. You go with the Father Kent. You have a meeting in
mhm.
Altair itself, the capital city, which you've probably never been here before. It's freaking awesome.
Wow.
It's an amazing, think of London in 1880, right?
Ooh.
1880s. It's like that, but even a little bit more grand because there's magic and science going on together. But it's an
Ooh.
amazing place. But of course, you go to the Grand Gods Hall in Altair, um, and it's an amazing structure that stands, gee, I don't know, 100 stories tall. It's
Suddenly my
gigantic.
imagine.
potions seem very small.
Well, you are very, very, very. You are literally a frontier western, or although eastern town. is what you are, right? So I mean, think about how booming and beautiful New York City was compared to Dodge City,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Keep in mind all those westerns we love. At the same time, there are gigantic metropolises popping off, right?
Yeah, keep
And
in
the East
mind
Coast, yeah.
Victoria, England was happening at the same time as the Wild West.
Yes, no, it was.
Yeah.
Electricity
See.
was arriving. Cameras were already on the scene. Steam engines. There were all kinds of technologies popping. But Dodge City looked like a freaking hobbit hole.
Yep. It
And not
was
even a
like
charming hobbit hole, like
yeah.
bag ends.
And I didn't even mention Deadwood. Wow.
They
Yeah,
started off as tents,
they did. They did.
Yeah.
But
That's
anyway,
how my town started off, was just actually a dugout place where people for a trade hub. It was
Yeah.
a dugout.
Yeah.
That's how my hometown started.
yeah, yeah. No, a
Oh,
lot of them
Yeah.
did. I mean, a lot of them did. I'm come from a more refined, higher level human place, but that's okay. Anyway, but so you have that conversation in Altair, and they're all very gracious. They're all priestly, and like I said, in this world, the God's Hall concept is much more Buddhist, right? It's not like the Catholic Church and all the machinations in it, right? It's not that. The sanctum is like that, right?
mhm.
In my world, the sanctum takes up the place of the Catholic bureaucracy, not the God's Hall. It's different, right? These guys are much more Buddhists in the way they approach things, right? So your conversations go really well. During the conversation with Father Kent, they agree, and of course, they do mention the fact that Iron Pass is becoming more and more important and more influential. Not to mention the Grand Irune, and they are very respectful to you because your renown does reach to here, right? And you are a celebrity now, and with that
Oh.
comes power and responsibility.
Well, I certainly don't mind responsibility
Yeah,
if it helps someone.
they agree, and they agree to cover half the cost. Okay, so
Hmm?
that's good. Write that down.
Okay.
You also go and you're busy with many things, but you take another trip with Father Kent during this month, and you go to Thizale, and you talk to them, and you're persuasive, more persuasive in the second conversation. These people are just as religious as everybody else. Everyone knows the gods are real. This isn't a question in
Mhm.
this world. It's not like our world.
Right.
Gods are real, right? And because of your fame, and of course their desire to be part of what the Altarian kingdom is doing, they also put forward 50%. So you are covered
Oh,
100% in the construction of the new monastery slash hospice. So no
wonderful.
money out of your pocket. However, a thought does come to your brain, and you go and sit and have a conversation with Tivera. Tivera,
What?
oh God. Now, Tavera, I'm gonna bring you in. What's going on with your character now? Um, this has been a bit of a whirlwind. You are a detective, really,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and you work for the Empire, and you've been
Mm-hmm.
a dedicated servant of the Empire, understanding the rewards that come in death. So you are a quintessential Gordadian or Gordati. I
Mm-hmm.
guess we'll go with Gordati. And therefore, this is a bit of a whirlwind for you. You're not used to fame and stuff like that. In your world, um, fame is for decadent little brats that run around and try to be musicians or artists or stuff like that. It's just the way your world goes.
Mm-hmm.
Service is
Mhm.
in itself the reward, is the kind of person you are.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
so all this fame and stuff around your character is a bit bewildering, but it's, and especially your mission here very specifically is to deal with the evils and of the prince and his allies. That's your job, right? That's why the
Mm-hmm.
baron put you here. However, what is the wisdom and intelligence of your character?
Intelligence 20, wisdom 18.
Okay, so your character is far from stupid, and you understand another aspect of your job is you are a representative of the Gordati. And the Baron has said to you in in very clear terms that the Gordati are very much moving toward a stance of opening up to the West and becoming more allied with them. You know this, right? So,
Yes.
with the knowledge your character has, what does your character want to do in this situation? Because opportunity is striking. What is the alignment of your character?
God, I don't remember. Second.
It's probably neutral something. Gordati are
Neutral
neutral.
good.
Yeah, there you go. The Gordati are
Neutral
very
good.
neutral. It's a necromantic culture, which a lot of
Hmm.
people have this idea that necromancy is evil. It is not. It can be used for evil, but it is not evil in and of itself. It's quite neutral.
It does seem like this new stuff is very catchy. Maybe I should start publish some flyers, talking about, or maybe a kid's book about the life of Gordati.
You
How they
can't. Well,
don't
you know,
see
you
it.
can't use that word. You're not allowed.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. I know.
but yeah. So you want to become an author? Interesting.
The
Well, I thought
mysterious.
of either that or do transportation.
No, no,
So
no. I like it. Let's go with that. No, I like it. Yeah,
okay,
you during the month, of course, you're helping everyone, and that's your job. And of
yeah,
course, your character is generally good anyway. It's a good idea to help people. But during that time, you do put together a book introducing to the deaf speakers, and of course, you clear this with the Baron, which you can communicate with him very easily, and he agrees.
yeah.
So you put that together. So, gee, I don't even know what skill that would fall under.
Me neither, actually.
Probably. Well, let's see. What
Well,
skill?
I thought maybe
History might be a good one.
persuasion, history. Yeah.
Performance.
Maybe
Performance would work
performance,
too.
yeah. Um, do a intelligence-based performance roll,
Intelligence
not a
based.
charisma-based, an intelligence-based charisma roll. I mean,
Okay.
performance roll. I think that's the way to go. You probably don't have skills in it, but that's
So just
okay.
Not performance, no. Okay, let's see.
so it
Uh,
probably would be just a +5.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Roll good, girl. What? Why do I have 3 of those there? Clear that.
Maybe the Baron could be there helping you,
Well,
which
the
could
Baron will edit it for you, and therefore add
yeah.
plus
So
five. Add plus five.
or advantage, but yeah, but +5.
Yeah, shut up, GOP.
I know. Sorry.
I'd rather have advantage, but that's
No,
alright.
actually,
No, you would
advantage
rather.
+5 is probably better. Yeah,
Yeah.
statistically.
27.
There you
Oh
go.
yeah, it's quite a good book. And of course, with your fame, getting in touch with a publisher is quite easy, and that's in the works. It won't come out until next month, but you're able. This isn't like a novel, right? You put together kind of a pamphlet
Right.
on the deaf speakers, which starts. It's
Yeah.
almost like a propaganda piece, right? Which is good, right? In this case, so you've done that, and that's in works. Write that down, please. Now, during this conversation, whilst you're doing this, Erune comes to you and she says that she's working on building a monastery, hospice to go along with the rebuilding of God's Hall to help the people. Now, your culture has the same type of things. I mean, the gods are real everywhere, right? And the
Right.
Gordati are not less religious than anyone else. And of course, you have hospitals all over the place. You do realize your care is much more scientific or psionically based. And of course, you also have that whole
Mhm.
necromancy thing, which is the best healers you can find are necromancers. Keep in mind, right? So your culture, medicine in your culture is way beyond these people, right? But
Okay.
that's not something you talk about though, right? It's part of the secrets of the Gordati, and you're going to have to let
Yeah.
the Gordati Council, which of course involves the Baron, make a decision on how they release and introduce themselves to the world, which they are in the process of doing, right? But
All right.
nevertheless, she asked you about this. And you relay this to the Baron, and the Baron takes a couple days to get back to you about Erune wanting to seek funding from the Gordati for her monastery. And but he does come back with a response, and he says, have she and you be sent over by Jason to the to Gordati,
Council.
the capital city. So this
Ooh,
is
okay.
as far as our company is in regards to, and of course the Altarians and the Thysians as well. This is the first person outsider to be allowed into the Gordati lands.
Oh my
So,
I
goodness.
make sure she's well aware of that too.
right, and of
That she,
course, well, she's a paladin.
ever she performs or acts.
Yeah, but she's going to be, she's
Of
a paladin.
course,
She's going to be
yeah.
respectful. But anyway, so you guys are teleported into the capital city by Jason. Now, of course, Tivera works here for a decade probably, but you've never been here before, Amy. Now,
Oh no.
you just went to Altair, and you've never seen anything it's like, right? You've probably been to Thizale. There's no reason why your character hasn't been there multiple times, especially seeing your connection to it. And it's a beautiful place, but Altair made it pale in comparison. This place is basically looks very similar to, let's say, mid-century New York,
Hmm.
right? It's all gleaming and glistening. There's tall buildings as far as you can see. It's
Are
much
they
more modern, and
mm.
your brain doesn't really understand what that means, but you do, right?
Mm.
It's a very
Yeah.
modern place. The science, because you know what science is, it's an up and coming thing, is way
This is
advanced
all
here.
about.
Um,
Hmm.
and matter of fact, you kind of arrive in a terminal area, and Tivera says to follow her, and you guys go along, and you get on this. It's kind of like a very large wagon that has no wheels and hovers off the ground. And
Mm.
it's you see other ones as you're driving along or flying along actually, that are full of
Mhm.
people just being moved back and forth, transported various places, which you don't. It's like a stagecoach, right? But they're floating and they fly in the air when they take off. The one you're on is obviously a private one that has been sent for you. So it's basically a flying bus, right? And
Uh-huh.
you're taken to the Ministry of Celestial Affairs, and
Oh.
Celestial.
of course, Tavera's. You've probably never been in here yourself, right? It's not attached to your work. You've been to a God's Hall of some kind
Right.
before, certainly, but you've never been to this place. But it's very, very modern. It's very executive, and you take in these. You've been in these before. It's like the lifts that you used in the 100, the Cage Ruins, but it's far more fancy looking and modern. But you do go up to a very high floor and you go into a meeting with Tavera, and you sit and have a conversation with a man dressed in a very bizarre way from your point of view. He kind of looks like the alchemist in Iron Pass without the cloak.
All right.
He's very suited up.
Hmm.
Now you see suits. There are plenty of people's suits, but this is a different type of suit. It's just everything around you is unfamiliar, is my point. But
Hmm.
you do have a conversation with this guy. Obviously, he's been prompted on your arrival, and he's very
Mhm.
cordial, but he's also very businesslike in his conversation.
Uh,
And he basically, after the niceties are done, he says, "So you've been sent looking for financing in Iron Pass in regards to building a hospital and a training
hmm.
ground for priests. Correct?"
Correct. Yes. We need we need as much help as we can, I think, with the recovery of people, and they are bringing so many of their ill from everywhere now, which is a blessing to help so many, but oh my goodness, I only have so many hands.
This is understandable. He says, we are willing to finance such an endeavor. Of course, the gods do need to be represented, and healing is an important thing. We will be willing to put up 50 million of your money toward this endeavor, which just doubled your money, by the way.
Cool.
And he says, with one caveat,
Uh,
are priests to be
and
allowed to come and be involved not only in the operation of the monastery, but also in the training?
well, I mean, certainly if you would be willing to help teach, I
Perhaps
can
you
use
should
all of
see
them.
a few samples of this so she
Sound
can have
Oh,
a better understanding of basically showing her what the necromancy really is.
Oh, that sounds like a good
him.
idea. He presses a button on some box on his desk. He speaks into
Mhm.
it. Lady walks into the room, and he gives them orders to take you over to the nearest hospital. So you are taken there. Now, the Gordati hospitals look a lot like our hospitals because keep in mind the Gordati are a mix of psionic technology and necromantic magic, right? Is what their world is, right? Psionics,
Something.
psionicists are very science based, and of course, necromancy is, you know, deep magic, right?
Mm,
So the hospital looks very similar to a modern hospital in many ways, but of course
mm,
there are arcane runes everywhere, and there are kind of like necromantic priests are most of your are working side by side. So in their society, if something can be fixed mechanically, scientifically, then they do that. If magic needs to
mhm,
be brought in, then that is done as well. So you are taking and showing this facilities. You don't know what you're looking at. Is way beyond you. It's way beyond you,
mm.
right? It's kind of like this the stuff your sister has been dealing with inside the ruins. It's beyond you, right?
Right.
It's foreign, alien to you. But one
Mm,
thing that is demonstrated to you very clearly, they are really good at healing.
Wow, that is incredible. Do I sense any darkness about it or any dupliciousness?
Nope, no duplicity
Hmm.
whatsoever. Like I said, they're not evil.
No. So I don't see why I would hesitate. My goodness. What wonderful work you do. Your healers are all very gifted.
All right. So you come to a deal and you sign a contract, yes?
Um, does it have anything strange written on it?
Just requirements on a number of Gordati, well, they don't call them Gordati, but healers to be involved and certain quarters to be made available, which would just be architectural planning. No, it's
Mhm.
not that. There is no underhandedness going on, but they want involvement. And if you ask questions as to why, they simply say because, well, we are moving toward looking to interact with the West. How best to do that? What better way to do that than through God?
Mm, I'm I'm very happy if you're able to help. I can only train so many, and your teachers are all very wise. Uh, are there any other supplies that we'll need to procure somehow? I'm afraid I've understood so very little of what I've seen.
We will provide that. As you
All
see in the
right.
contract, he flips to page 27 under
27.
Article 12 IE segment C5, and he points that out. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Starting to look a little dizzy flipping through all the papers. Uh, let's see. Kind of a look of awareness. Do I need to run this by anyone back home, or have I been given release by them already to make those
In
decisions?
in regards to this particular project, this is all you.
Mm. Oh, all right.
I mean,
So,
you are
uh,
getting.
yeah. Well, I mean, as long as like Vintian and everybody back home has already said whatever you can do, we're good with that. Um, if I have the blessing of everyone back home, I don't see any reason to hesitate,
A pen
and I
is
don't
handed
sense
to
any
you.
darkness. Hmm?
A
Ah.
pen is handed to you. Quite a fancy one.
Does she know what the ink comes
I
Ooh.
out
would
that is?
assume it's a basic concept. So yeah, are you gonna sign the document?
Mm.
You're
Um.
nervous. Do an insight check.
Oh, all right. Shall I try that?
Sure.
Is that kind of like what
It's
would be
up
the
to you.
equivalent of listening to your heart?
Yes, that's what that is. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So that would be. I think it's a 3 and a
I love
4.
how she phrases that. Is that listening to your heart?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
You gotta listen to your heart.
Oh no!
Oh, this
Maybe
is
I
the
can try a
most.
better roll than that.
This is the most. No, no, no. This is your insight. Your heart tells you. This is the most legitimate deal you've ever seen in your life. It is amazing. These are great people,
Oh,
and they want to do good.
Sign it. Do
all right.
it.
I had
All right.
them
Well,
to the swarm.
as I've flipped over everything and read it as thoroughly as I can, and am a little bit dizzy almost from trying to understand it all, but
It's
confident I've
only
done the
57
best of my
pages.
ability.
It's not much.
I know. All right. Um. All right. Uh. And my heart sounds good with it, and there's no evil there, so yeah, I
Well,
see
that's
no
true. There
reason
is
not
no
to.
evil here. Um, so you sign it. All right. So they have made the funds available through Tavera. And of course, now you have twice the money you need, which means you have to think about how you want to spend that money. You can build twice the thing you wanted to build, or you could do whatever you want. Think about that and let me know because it's going to take time to build that, but it has started,
Yeah.
right? And all the other things you're doing. Uh, now, Tavera wrote her book, and we already did that.
Mhm.
Dandelion is basically been trying to reacquire as many of her assets as possible whilst helping, so she's done.
You're,
Um,
you're wallowing on me. I don't know why.
am I?
Is he wallowing on anybody else?
It
No.
was only a
Oh,
little bit maybe on my end, but he's good mostly.
Okay.
sounds good.
Um, all right, good. I'll try to speak more clearly if I can.
You're
But
good now.
let's see here. Who have
Well,
I
no.
not?
If it continues, I'll just reload the Discord.
Yeah, yeah, that
Well,
sounds good. Let me go to Danny. Now, Danny, you're muted. Hi.
I'm here.
Now, your character, we kind of popped up some levels because you were over at Cage Ruin, doing adventurer stuff with some of the other party members that weren't involved with the main group. But you're back with the main group now. Of course, you're helping wherever you can with this endeavor. This is not your ilk. You are a barbarian,
hmm
right?
I was
But you're
also and I was also going to ask you about like in the past too on my downtime. Can I roll to like see like exactly how much I was making if I was doing fights or
Yeah,
fighting
I'm
or?
I'm dealing with that right now. Yeah. Um,
Oh, okay.
as far as acquiring, we already set your character up and gave you stuff, and I'm assuming GOP, you gave her magical items equivalent to what the party has, right?
well, I didn't know exactly what she would have got, so I have some stuff in mind, and because I was gonna go shopping anyways,
Well,
but
just do
if you
that for her then, please. She,
rare something rare maybe, or very rare. What do you want me to? There, I'll just find
well,
something.
I'd say she'd have acquired at least one rare item. Let's say she has
Yeah.
4 uncommon items and then whatever else common to flesh her out.
Okay.
So do like that. But she's also acquired a bunch of stuff that's just worth money. that you have sold. And of course, with this current banking stuff and stuff that's going on this month, you probably were sitting on goods that you didn't really know what to do with, but the people around you do. So you're able to sell all those things that you aren't keeping, that are just value, and you are able to put 2 million in your pocket.
All right.
So just write $2 million down in addition to whatever other funds you had. And with GOP, you can work out what kind of magical items you have. And
Okay, we can do that.
yeah, he knows what to do. So you do have money in your pocket. I'm assuming over 2 million. You had money before. So
Mm-hmm.
you did have successful runs, and you've been able to make yourself wealthy, which was the point. Um, did you? We didn't lose your mom, did we?
I
No,
don't know.
no, she's fine.
But she was in the
And
crosshairs, right? Um, so
my father would have been too, wouldn't he? He
no,
at the Gill
he was at
or
the
I'm
guards
sorry, guard. I
hall.
mean,
Yeah, he was fine. But we had to
okay.
roll for her, but she did survive, right?
Mhm.
So that's good because she's a teacher at Iron Pass School, right? She's one of the teachers you guys grew up with, of course. But you guys also had a house. What did I do with that? Because I know I put her there. I thought for sure I had put up a house in here. Am I just missing it? Hold on a second. Give me a second.
Take your time.
Yes.
I'll have to look in that.
Okay. No, it's not there. All right. I
Yeah,
thought I
because
had
wasn't
said
it
that.
like Yonda Skull Ripper or something?
Yeah, Yonda. Yeah, Yonda. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, your dad is one of the Vermilion Guard captains, right? I
Yeah,
just thought I
Thorn.
had set up a panel for your family home. Pretty sure I did, but I'm
Hmm.
not finding it, so I must not have. But
I seem to remember it too.
yeah, yeah, right. But I'm not finding it.
A house design.
Maybe I removed it for some reason because I do occasionally try to cut things out to make space because wow, I got a lot of stuff here. Um,
Mhm.
Let me just keep going through here. So if I'm still in the Cragmora area, whew, there's we've done a lot.
We have it's
I
it's
know
a
I wasn't around
nice
for
big
several
campaign.
months, and then I spent like a month and a half in Central America
Oh,
and had a lot
nice.
going on.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I don't
Wow.
have it. I think.
Oh, did you have your
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Danny? Did you ever have your surgery?
Yeah, it's tomorrow for
Okay,
my foot.
I'll just.
Yep. And then I had my face. I
Uh,
had my face one in August.
Why
So
are
I
you
had a
having
lot going
face
on.
surgery?
okay.
Yeah. No,
Save
it's been
face.
going on for a year and a half because I got bit by a dog.
Oh,
Oh no.
that
It was pretty
sucks.
bad.
No,
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
I'm so sorry.
I'm doing
But
good though.
that's
That is good to
awesome. I'm
hear.
glad we were able to get you help.
Yeah, no, that's not good at all, getting bit by a dog. I was bit by a dog once, but it was on my calf, and then I punted it.
Oh
No,
dear. Well,
I'm
can't say
pretty. I
that
don't know. I'm pretty
happened.
tough. It was a big dog, and he took like part of my whole bottom section off.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that is
god.
very, very bad.
Yeah,
Hopefully
but
that'll.
it's been
How
doing good.
many
I had a good.
how many reconstructive
I've
surgeries are you looking at now?
I've already. I'm all the. I'm. I don't know. I lost count. I think I'm over maybe eight, nine in the past
Wow.
year and a half, maybe. Yeah, it was like three in the first like month and a half or something. So yeah, but I've been coming a long way. I have a
Wow.
great surgeon, so I'm just like. So my thing was, let's get the last one in. Let's get this foot surgery in because I've met my deductible. I'm like, let me
Oh
get it in
yeah.
before the end of the year.
Mhm.
So got a
Okay.
lot. I've had a lot going on, but now I'm gonna have a lot of downtime. So I'll look forward to hanging out with everybody and
Oh, we're looking
on
forward to having
Tuesdays
you.
and playing the game.
But we'll
That's cool.
definitely keep you up in prayer.
And scars are
Oh,
character.
thank you.
They're
Mhm.
awesome. You could
Oh
talk
yeah.
about them. Yeah, yeah. But
Oh, he's selling great. So it's awesome.
Mhm.
So yeah,
uh,
yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
now we have dealt with. Your mom's fine, your dad's fine. Of course, you have family
Mm-hmm.
hug moments because mom was in a destroyed, damaged, falling building, but she's okay. School is being rebuilt. Luckily, it wasn't completely destroyed like some of the other places. But of course, your mom's very busy involved with that. She takes it very personal. her name may be Skull Ripper, and it's the teacher you never mess with, right? But
Mhm.
she takes her job as an educator very seriously, right? She enjoys being a teacher of the youth in town. And of course, your dad is a high-ranking military guy in town. Nevertheless, during this month, however, because you do have money from your previous endeavors, you're able to sell stuff and consolidate, right? Um,
Mhm.
Other than just helping where you can help, what does your character want to do toward the future? You see, everyone's kind of building businesses or doing things like that, and that's a very D&D thing to do at this level we're at, by the way. And matter of fact,
I'm
in the
not really
early
sure,
editions,
actually.
we have stronghold building rules and all kind of cool stuff, huh, Bill? Bill's muted.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, since I'm do my fight in the downtime and things like that, is there any way like I could do something like that where I open like something that has to do with bringing people in to teach them how to be, I don't know, tougher, like do some things like that,
like a boxing gym.
like yeah, like something like that. Yeah,
Like a
something
fighter
along those lines.
training kind of
I
thing.
have
Yeah.
I have a
Yeah.
proposition for you.
Oh, the banker comes
Okay.
in.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, young lady. I have a proposition for you.
Mhm.
Glamoring my armor to look like a business suit.
Mhm.
Um, And I will
Oh, okay.
proposition that you, being that your mother is a teacher, you should probably have inherited such similar skills that you should create a survivalist college. Since we are on the border of Cade's ruins, multiple different adventurers will come here in order to learn the finer arts of survival, adventuring, combat, and all these many things. Think of like a unity of guild, so to speak. You're not training people just to go out and adventure, you're going to train people to go out and establish new civilizations. All with
That
proper
sounds
funding, of course.
right. Of course, of course.
Of
That sounds
course.
like it'd be cool.
May may the DM add a suggestion?
Yes, of course.
Liam can do whatever he wants.
Isn't
That,
this? Yeah, as I
Was
say, you can do what you want.
He
that's
didn't want to
true.
go
was
out
the
and say it.
Now,
what's that money? What are you saying?
what? Now, you of course could build that in town, although there are many little ones. Matter of fact, there is a little stable master that kind of runs something on the side like that. But might I suggest that Cage Ruins, which you spent way more time there than they did on the surface, and going down into Cragmore, you were actually didn't even know you were there at the same time as them. Although, well, anyway, because you were paying money to go into the ruins and you were making money. So you've been in there, they haven't, right? But one thing that you could do as you're talking here and do it in Iron Pass, no problem. But Cade's Ruin, as in the surface, is very disorganized. There are little camps here or there. There's little places for people to outfit themselves, and there's even merchants come in, will buy goods at a poor price. But it's just a bunch of little camps, and there's a bunch of rules that are just kind of general rules that honor demands, therefore dishonorable people don't follow. Cage Ruins could be organized by the
Yeah, I
right
was thinking the
person.
same thing. Yeah.
You get my
Making a little note.
drift?
Mm-hmm.
You could become the manager of Cade's Ruin
You could be
All
with
right.
proper
I'm
funding,
right.
of course.
with proper funding.
All
Well, no, I mean
right. How would
you could build a center. You could hire a guards team and a guards academy to enforce the laws of Cage Ruins and to just kind of bring it up to another level. To be fair, the adventuring in this has just touched the surface, right? In the past 30 years, it's made Cragmora, right? And that's one thing no one here we haven't really talked about. Cragmora was just an outpost of the Gordati archaeologists, which only Lady's character would know this, but simply because they believe their ancestors built this place, right? So they had teams of archaeologists in here trying to explore and understand. But with the arrival of the Altarians, in Iron Pass, and all the people coming in, Cragmora boomed just like Iron Pass did, right? And
Mhm.
therefore, Cragmora is just as new as Iron Pass, even though it's in an ancient place. the Cragmore itself is kind of a new thing. It was just a Gordati outpost, really, right, for archaeologists. So the level of adventuring left inside of these what we're calling caged ruins, or what they call the 100, is centuries and centuries of work and involvement here. So this is really primitive. Think about Wild Bill's circus when it first, or what did he call that? It wasn't a circus. His Wild West show.
Rodeo. Oh,
No,
yeah,
Buffalo Bill,
show.
right?
Yeah.
Yep. That was
Um,
it.
the Wild West show. That's kind of what this place is right now. But with the correct, savvy, and strong-handed person, you could turn this into an industry here.
Sounds pretty cool. I think I could go for that. So what would I have to do to go about that?
Well, you would have to build a center. You would have to
Okay.
hire enforcers, sheriffs, as it were. You would have
Hmm.
to set up build another part onto the building for training new people coming into the future. And you would have to take these people that you hire and go around and crack some damn heads.
You need to build a
Okay.
You'd have to build the pokey too.
Yeah, which is
Yep.
something your character is perfectly set up for.
Okay.
You are a
Or
skulldugger,
only
after
one
all.
punishment for everything, death.
Well, no, you don't have to go that far. Well, it's up to her, really. But
Old
keep in mind,
draconian here.
it's kind of a neutral zone. It's not owned by anybody, right? So the right person coming in and putting their foot down and organizing this would, for the future, be better for everybody. Because most people here do follow the rules and they're just adventurers and etc. But there are bandits, and if you could go in and set up a center and get rid of the banditry part of it, you only not only would you be hailed as the savior of cage ruins, you'd also become very profitable.
Since this is the this the village that's deep inside, that is an outpost for the Gordati,
Yeah,
would my people want to know what she's planning on doing?
obviously, and they would be paying
Obviously.
attention anyway. But
Okay.
to be fair, this isn't in Cragmora. This is on the
Okay.
surface. We're talking about the surface. We're talking about
Okay.
the Cage Ruin encampment, which is just kind of a
Right.
Wild West place right now. But
Yeah.
organizing, taking control of that, and turning it into a town, ultimately in the long run. Thus, therefore, we're talking about the founding of a new town. Um, that would be a very profitable and a useful thing for her to do, and it also kind of the initial stages of that kind of stuff needs a person like her character. Now, as time goes on, the next generations or so will bring politicians and all that kind of nonsense start coming in. But in the beginning, towns are made by people who are willing to go out there and crack some heads. That's how it works,
Very true.
right? So that's my suggestion. Now, you could do what you're talking about and just build a training center in Iron Pass, and I'm sure it'll be very profitable and it'll be great. But I kind of feel it would be neat if you were actually the person who established the new town, whatever it may be called.
Hmm. Okay. And I got for that kind of thing though. I got a minute to think about that.
You do,
But
Yeah.
then
but
what
you
would I do
also
for?
have a very rich banker talking to you.
I know
Hello.
I hear that. So like, what would I have to do to get this started? Like,
Oh, I'm so
open the
glad you
school.
asked.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, do you know what a loan is?
Uh-oh.
No, no.
She's
Sure.
one of your team members. You're talking
And
to
he's
She
got to
is
one.
turn
one of
a
my team.
profit.
All I gotta say
I
is you
have.
better watch how you talk to me, all right?
Well, you
Oh,
guys
I'll
keep in
talk
mind
to you
your
fantastically.
childhood friends, right? You guys have known each other forever.
Yeah, well, then we could still wrestle it out. I don't know.
You could.
Yeah, sure, we can. Let me just
Yeah.
cast a spell real fast.
No.
Anyways,
Can't use your sword either.
I could use my sword
So
definitely.
how much is
Let's
it
see.
gonna
Oh my.
cost?
How?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Well,
seems like
see,
a
This
that's
lot.
the thing.
this would be the most expensive endeavor, and therefore
Okay.
of anything we've mentioned. And of course, up to now, the most expensive thing is what Amy's character is doing. Now, you don't actually what you guys were suggesting initially, you can handle all by yourself. The financing of it between you and the bank, being Puffin, but the funding of the establishing or the initial establishments of law and order, therefore a town in Cage Ruins, that is way more money. Therefore, you would need investors. So that comes into the conversation. Now, investors can be got, and there are people you could talk to. There's a little guy over here. He's called Baron, right? There's another
I
baron who might be interested in that conversation. You never know what kind of. I don't know if I get them involved, but
Or would there be a way that would make it a
well,
little bit cheaper, like with depending on who'd want to invest and who has the money for this and what they're using for their money?
right.
if
Would my foot get
yeah,
my foot in the door to do start with just something simple in
Well, it's
there
going to
that gets
start
my
that
foot
way,
in
but the
that?
I
long,
might
yeah, it's
be
going to
able.
start that way. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I
Go
might
ahead.
be able to help when I get my chance to do my thing with your thing because I've got an idea.
Oh well, I'm going to
Pretty.
get to you
Mhm.
last. But yeah, I wouldn't go as far as the Zale or Altair because now you're really extending your responsibilities. But as far as
Mhm.
this is just the universe speaking, right?
Mhm.
But I would say that understanding what the Baron Fetzkit wants to do, which you all understand, and his intention of bringing the empires, these nations together, right, against the common foe, but also for future. It's quite clear from the Baron, and of course, Lady's character knows this as well, as does Towers, that the Gordati have made a decision to make make moves to unify themselves and open trade and do what nations do with Thysia and Altair, right? Thysail and Altair, and that's their intention. Therefore, the universe states that Baron Fedskit, who's ridiculously wealthy, and Baron Sewell, who is also very wealthy. Those you probably don't want to extend beyond that because now you're getting too many cooks in the kitchen. But these two
Mhm.
people are directly invested in what's happening. Cage Ruin is the midpoint because literally, if we go a little bit more deep, but it's off of our map here. If you take a look at our map, you
Mhm.
could, because one of you has been there, Rune has been there, but if you look at the distance between Iron Pass and Cage Ruin, so what is that? It's about 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So what did we come up with, like 60 miles away or something like that?
Yeah.
Um, the first outskirts towns of the Gordati Empire are about 100 miles further on, so they're not that far away. So this is kind of a midway point. Therefore, it makes sense to kind of have a midway town that is built with money from both sides, if you see what I mean. That's
Mhm.
what the
But
universe thinks, but you can do as you like.
That's a good idea. You should think about
yeah,
that.
Mhm.
hopefully I can see
Yeah.
one thing with making this particular town is I was hoping to instill my father as a landowner as his own small fiefdom because he's watched over Cade's ruins for so long. I thought it would be nice to help dear old dad.
Sure. I mean, there's plenty of land that can be taken, of course, and him being involved in that is not a bad idea. We're just talking about her creating and establishing something. But
Hmm.
there's plenty of land over there, so of course your dad can be involved with that. But seeing as, hold on one second, Danny. Uh, uh,
Mhm.
GOP, what is it you are planning that might involve her? Deal with that first.
Okay. Well, we already established that my character was running around doing business with all sorts of merchants all over the place to find these diamonds. Correct. So he was making a lot of connections there.
Obviously.
My Yes. So my character, with his extensive connections that he's building with his new fame, he's going to decide to utilize his fame to his advantage. He wants to do a high stakes card game with some of like the wealthiest people in the empire. Um, some like $1 million buy-in, right? Like really expensive stuff.
Mhm.
And the
And cheat. No. Okay.
no, I
Mhm.
do not
And
cheat.
cheat.
I don't need to cheat. I have like broken stats for gambling.
Are you
But
gonna do
anyways,
pay-per-view?
yeah. So anyways, he wants to do that as a means not only to make a lot of money, but also to get a lot of potential investors into the area, build a railroad that goes through, like it keeps going past Iron Pass into Thazale all the way to Cade's Ruins, and also get investment into those other areas like Cade's Ruins. He probably wants to start like his own gambling hall and stuff in those areas, as a way
Investment, you
to.
say?
He wants to
Yes,
be a
yes,
train baron.
yes. So,
Okay.
yep.
Um.
I can help with that.
Well, the with your renown and setting up gambling things is not hard to do. That's pretty easy. But do keep in mind, what's the intelligence of your character
I believe he has a. Oh, he's only a 10. Well, yeah, he's 10.
and your wisdom?
15.
Okay. Um, you are smart enough and wise enough to know that this endeavor requires you to lose.
Not true. But then again, if I win, depending on how many people. Well, all right, how many people actually agree to come to this game? Like, can I do like a,
To
I
be
don't know,
involved in
persuasion?
a game with the super hot famous Lord Terador, who's
Mm-hmm.
hot meaning at the moment, but also super cute hot. Yeah, a lot. Sure.
Okay. How many can afford that buy-in that I mentioned?
In Altair,
Yeah.
thousands.
Hmm. Okay.
Keep in mind,
Crazy.
this is a kingdom that's basically been at peace for over 1,000 years. There are some rich people, dude. This
Oh,
is, even though it is a monarchy, effectively is a plutocracy, right?
It sounds like you need to raise the buy-in.
Yeah. But well, you know what?
Sounds like
I go to because I have all right. So currently I have 1.7 million on me.
Uh-huh.
So um, let's see. I
Keep in
will.
excuse
mind,
me,
the
sir.
money for those diamonds needs to come from somewhere, guys.
No, yeah,
There's,
we're. I'm doing it from the concept that we've kind of sold all those other items that we had,
oh, okay.
but
All right, that's fine.
yeah, because that's how we would afford it. But okay, I'm gonna ask Puffin if he would.
Hello.
Yeah, hey, buddy.
Hi,
Hey.
friend.
All right,
I
what if I
mean,
raised?
demonic hellspawn. What do you want?
Yeah, yeah, hey, bud. Okay, so if I increase the buy-in to,
Now,
I don't
you're
know
not
how
going to
much
be able
could.
to government. That's kind of ridiculous buy-in anyway.
Yeah, it is buy-in. Yeah,
So you're not going to do that. But before we get into all that stuff, I
yeah.
want to know what you were talking about in regards to Shamara's character, Danny's character, Shamara.
Oh, so I was thinking about getting investments from major people for one with the railroad, getting connection out there, but also investment to starting a town out there right on a rich treasure trove. I could
Mhm.
see a lot of people, a lot of very wealthy people in the kingdom or in the empire being very on board with investing in something like that, especially that it's would be essentially the most far out frontier area that we would have now.
Okay. All right. Hold on a second. I'll come back to you in a minute. Danny.
Hmm.
So you need to make a decision here. A lot of things been coming your ear, and your character's going to have to choose what you want to do. Effectively, what is kind of you're being pushed by your childhood friends, right? And
Hmm.
their intentions are profit, and you're involved in the conversation. So if you build something in town and you just have a simple academy for training people to go into the ruins and yada yada yada. You don't need much involvement with them. You can do that all by your little lonesome, and it will, of course will be ultimately successful, right? Just think
Hmm.
of you know George Foreman opening up a boxing academy instead of selling cookers.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yeah. Although I hear
They
it's a really
probably
good cooker.
continued making quite a bit of money.
Yeah,
They made all this money through that.
he did.
So if everyone was on board and thinking this is a good idea to do
Okay, all
the
right.
bigger
So
idea of
the
things,
bigger
then that'd
thing.
be good.
So the bigger thing, basically, if we kind of break it down and we look at ultimately what's being talked about, what you
Mm-hmm.
need to do to attract investors and therefore center yourself for being forefront of this is you need to go and build something in Cage Ruin and go around and create the law. So ultimately, what you really need to build is, effectively a town center slash jail, and go over there and
Mm.
get Cage Ruin under control. These are the rules. This is what is established. You follow the rules, and you're good. That's what you need to do first, to not only show that willingness to do, but also to show the investors that there is potential. Um, so your character doing that puts yourself in a position to be kind of the linchpin for all of it, because the money involved in building a town is way, way, way beyond you, right?
Mhm.
However, the investors, not only with the emperor's enthusiasm for Iron Pass, many other people's as well, there you can get money in this place, but you need to establish that you can make it lawful. So that's what it comes down to. You need to build a town center, basically, and then
Okay.
hire guards and go out and make Cade's ruins lawful.
I wonder if having the father that I do and the mom that I do,
Mhm.
would they, I know they can't be pulled away for long for what they already do, but they could maybe come out and help since he's like high regards,
Sure.
and what he does, could he come out and just do like like a do a training thing with them? Would that cut any corners, or would that
Well,
be actually like a respected thing with the people of the town?
right.
Or is that not part of it?
No, I think eventually your dad coming out and doing that would be a great idea. But I think your father, I don't think your mother's going to be very useful in this endeavor in the beginning
Okay.
anyway. But in
Yeah.
the beginning, your father's benefit to you, because construction is to simply put the money and get and transport the goods and get it going on, right? Which is
Right.
something that
Mhm.
Puffin's dad, Roland's dad, can help with, right?
Okay.
And he wants to involve him in this, and it makes sense. What your father's going to be useful for is getting you the correct guards to help you.
Right. That's what other thing I was thinking, like, because he would have that in on that. I mean,
He would.
nobody's like the high up people would not be coming from where their guard it like where they're at, but with him being the high respected officer of the guard, he could help me get the people I would need. And
He
they would
would.
maybe even be already trained.
Yeah, no, no, no. That's where your dad comes in. All right, so we'll say that this entire initial endeavor costs $200,000. Okay, so just
Done.
deduct that from. Well, let her do it though. Let her do this first
Okay.
part.
I'm Jeanette,
Um,
and if I have 2 million plus in my addition, I'll have to go back and see what I had already.
right,
Oh.
But I
but
don't think I
just
had a whole lot. But
reduce 200,000, and in this month, because it's only a month, right? What has taken place is because you're not very helpful to what they're doing. You don't have magic, you can't help with that stuff. But this is something you can be very helpful for. So you're over at Cage Ruin, and what you do initially is in that month, a basically a wooden structure is put up, right? That acts
Mm-hmm.
as the sheriff's station. Now it's a little bit more involved than the Western movies. It's a little bigger. There's a bunkhouse for everybody, and it's kind of like a fancy sheriff's house, right? It's got a jail in there. It's got bunkhouses. It's got a front room for meeting, and a foundation stone layout has been placed for the larger building, so that so
okay.
we've consecrated that has happened in the first month. And during this month, we'll say that your father is able to get you 20 loyal guards, right? Who you are paying for.
Mm-hmm.
That's the money plus the resources. And these people understand they're all deputized, so you're effectively the mayor slash sheriff. You've dedicated yourself to, and all these are deputies. And you guys have spent the past month going around letting everybody know there's a new law in town. The laws of Cage Ruin are being followed, and you can adjust them as you'd like. And depending how you adjust them depends on how much pushback you get. But most of the people are, yeah, that's cool. We need some organization around here. There are some bandit-minded people, and it not Timotei's dad, maybe, right? But that you have to deal with during that time. But you are a big thumper, and they are little thumpers. So it's been a good month. You
Oh,
brought
All
some
right.
law and order there. It's not 100%, but things are beginning. So the investment starts. Anything else you want your character to do?
I don't know right at this moment. I mean, because if she still is doing this, I think I can still do on and off like my roles for like fighting to make some money on the side before I start bringing money in for this. Because right now it's like more putting out money. So
Yeah, but that's true. But it will become profitable in the future because
right.
you're going to have Of course, you'll probably build an academy here, which will be your direct profit. But you're also going to have investment coming in for. We're going to build a town here, right? So,
No, I
as
gotcha. I'm following you.
as the quintessential mayor, there's always profit to be made. Just look at the Obamas.
Mm.
They're
so
multimillionaires now. Don't know how, but they are.
Mhm.
Anyway,
We have fun.
that's the way those things work. Cool. So your character's doing that. Excellent. I love it. World building everywhere. And then we don't have Tower here, but then his character is just going to stand next to Vera and smash things. So fair enough. Dandelion is doing her stuff, which we already talked about, and she has squared away a lot of her resources, not all of it, unfortunately. But once the prince is dealt with, that would be dealt with. But she's clearly moved herself and her life somewhere. But to be fair, she was kind of sitting in a limbo place anyway, being used for a
yeah.
public figure and stuff. So she's kind of refound her purpose with
Aw.
Badger. And they have many plans with farming and tobacco farming, which is a love for both of them, and yada 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 yada. So Dandelion is in a good place, and then the I, the long-windedness begins. GOP.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh wait,
Well, it's
I
at the
have
end. I
I
don't
was
have
the
a ton of time.
shortest. I
wait
just
wait
wanted you to know.
All right.
before GOP starts. I
I have
thought
a
that
question for you, GOP. Once you're done.
Sure. Okay, so I will do a 2 million
Wait.
buy-in,
He
but
just
the
said
whole
something. He had a question before you
what he
started.
said once I'm done. But Puffin, what do you?
no, I said before you start
Oh,
because I know how long
Yes.
you'll take. We only have a half an hour. I was
uh,
just
Yeah, I
thinking.
have an. It was just a quick
what do you
question.
want?
Would
It
there
was
have
for
been a
Tower.
possible?
You have to get him a ride. He needs a sweet ride.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
I'll get him a cart. I just wanted to ask if there'd be
He
any
needs a
possibility
griffin.
of getting one of those potential items
Oh,
before we began, because
no.
are we taking a month or are we taking a year here?
No, we're taking a month. That's what we're
Just a month.
doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just saying
Okay.
all these things are the initial setup, right? Because
Mhm.
keep in
Okay.
mind you are on a time frame where the expectation of Malatrix's, plan, right?
Yeah.
Um, so we don't have that kind of time, but this is all the inception of stuff that's going on right now. Nothing is completed.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Continue.
Okay.
Hold on,
Any
stop,
other?
stop, stop. Bill, what were you trying to say?
I was thinking the tower's not here, but um, he popped in for a second. You guys saw him. But would it be kind of cool to see him on like a griffin or something? This is left field.
Poor Griffin.
Is he
Yeah, that'd be.
is he too big for a winged
He
mouse?
is too big.
He's big, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll
I
let
was
let
I was
Tower
thinking
deal with
about a
Tower when Tower comes
Oh,
in.
Yeah.
for sure. I was just thinking of something. But
Yeah,
he's
lady.
Okay.
too.
I was actually thinking about uh, a flying ship.
They do
Well, that would be.
exist.
Very
They do
expensive.
exist.
Yeah,
Very
you don't
expensive.
you don't see them in town very often. There's been a couple of really rich guys who want to be an adventurer that have come through in them. But if you want to see flying ships, the most distant port is in what am I calling it? Dulpier, the Torresian place where the train ends. There are some there, but mostly that's far in the west. But they do exist. You've seen them. The Thysians don't use such things. You don't know about well, you know about the Gordati. You have all kind of flying vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking something else was to establish some kind of cargo chain, move all the stuff. People are coming here. Find a way
Well,
to get them here if they want to.
well,
No,
that's
that's
part of
that's
the
where
train stuff, but that's still
That's what
a
the
good
train's
idea.
for.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Because Dulpier, I gotta write that down because I don't know if I'm saying it right the same time every time.
Hmm.
But I think I am. Dulpier is the last stop of the train, and that's a 2-day journey on fast horse through the pass and over the plain. So the train's not that far away, really. But the plans have already been in place to continue that through the pass and into Iron Pass itself, and GOP has further plans.
Okay.
It sounds like.
Yep.
So go ahead.
It's your turn. Go ahead.
Okay. So what I want to do is I want to find because I mean I've been traveling all over the place, finding the richest, the people who are like cream of the crop, businessmen, right? And so I'm going to send an invite to the top 10, anyone who I think is, top 10 people who I think are going to be, wanting a piece of this action that's going on.
So
So,
you're doing research
yeah,
into who would be the right people to approach for investment. Therefore, you need an assessment plan, and hmm, the best person for that. I mean, you could do it, but probably the best person to do that would be Roland's new accountant. But yeah,
what's his investigation? I've got a +9 because I've got expertise in it.
yeah, no, I
So,
think you should do this, especially because you don't want to involve them anyway. You are a devil
Oh.
worshiper.
all right,
Devil
fine,
worshiper.
fine. Okay, so yeah, I'm going
So
to
give me an investigation roll.
oof.
Ooh,
Oh, it's a 13. You know what? I'm going to use my Dark One's Own Luck. So,
okay.
and I will add a 6 to that, so 19.
All right. In your cursory investigation, you are able to find 10 lords of the of the Altarian Empire, that you think these are entrepreneurs, investors, and stuff, and some of them have done some slight involvement already with Iron Pass, but these are people you think that would be, uh, you know, interested, and you approach them about the gambling thing, and these are people that are also gamblers. So you were kind of cross-referencing
Yeah, yeah.
A to 3, right? And you're able to find 10 people who get involved in your game. So the game is you have Jason. Jason has basically become a conductor.
Yep, that's essentially what he is. You gave a guy the ability to teleport us everywhere we need to go.
But
So,
he's very happy to be involved. He's actually a very capable managerial type, right? I mean, he was the spy master of Cragmora, right?
mhm.
So he's very excited with all the things going on. Anyway, you set this up. You rent a hall in Altair, and there's a little bit of pageantry. So you spend a little bit of money. Let's say you want to, because you're looking at promoting and investing, right? You want to get attention, is what you're
Yeah.
doing, right? So
Hmm.
I would say that you go all out on this, and you spend $100,000 for all
Okay.
the promotion and all the ginning up and everything involved. You're spending some money. Um, and of course, there's a lot of news reports and people chatting about the upcoming game because gambling is not illegal in the Empire. So especially when it's formal. The Empire kind of frowns on backroom stuff a little bit, but this kind of thing is no problem
Yeah,
whatsoever.
all above board.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course they come in now. Are we going to allow the press and their flash printers in the room for what's going on here?
Hmm. I think we should. So, well, I mean, I would kind of get the feel of the other players if they're okay with that. I mean, because this is also kind of publicity for them too.
This is
So
all
I want
they're
to.
all celebrity types, so they wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, and also too after the game we'll have, our private discussions. That's the main part of the
Right.
value of it for them is they get, private meeting with me afterwards to discuss any sort of business arrangements. So, yeah, the press will be here. We'll make it into
Okay.
a whole thing. I mean obviously everything has to be like checked and so there's no like
Right. We don't
underhanded but
in this age they don't there's no television, right? We don't have that. But
yeah.
with the flash printing and stuff like that, they can take kind of short well, they can make them as long as they wanted. They can take videos and put out reels and stuff like that is going on. So those kind of things would definitely be playing, but there would be more commentary over it. But nevertheless, so you let them in. The game is in play. Everyone here, there's varying levels of skill here. Two of the players are as savvy as you are when it comes to gambling. The rest of them, they either do it casually or have never gambled in their life. Right? They're
Fair
more
enough.
here. They're more here for the press and just the celebrity of it. Now,
Mhm.
the question comes down
Prestige.
to how do you handle it as far as your character?
Well, I'm still going to do the dealings with them either way, whether I win or lose. But I want to
I'm talking
win
about the
because I
game.
want. Oh, I mean, I'm going to try and win, but I'm not going to cheat or anything. I'm
No. I
genuinely.
understand that, but this is showing a lack in wisdom, though.
Well, no, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying the main part of their buy-in, the value that they have, that they're putting in, from my perspective, is that they're getting access to me and I'm giving them access to the area in a way that they would get, first dibs on those areas. Is my whole
Sure.
point.
These guys are, of course, effectively all billionaires anyway.
Yeah.
But okay, so you're going to try to win.
So
All
you're
right.
not you're not going to consider their pride at all in
Yeah, no,
this
that's what I'm trying
endeavor.
to push him, but he's not. He's just greedy. He wants the money.
I am
He's not
greedy.
being savvy at all.
He's a devil worshiper,
He is. He
Oh, I
is.
am greedy. But then again, there can only be one winner, truly, in the end.
and that's me.
And that's the one who gets his goals accomplished.
Yes.
My goals are going to get accomplished either way.
You have the foresight of a snail.
I'm greedy, and
Don't
I know.
worry.
Yeah,
I'll finance your greed, friend.
I know.
Yeah, all right. Let's go get at it
Yep.
then. We'll do adversarial rolls. I've only got two people here that actually are going to be rolling against you. Everyone else is inept
Okay.
comparatively. I'll say one guy gets +5 to all his rolls, another guy gets +7.
All right.
So let me just get that going here with different dice.
So usually it's a deception, intimidation, and insight roll.
I'm
So
just doing my thing, dude.
straight roll. Oh, it's all right. So we're just doing our rolls. Okay.
All right. Second guy is rolled much better, but go ahead and make your roll.
Okay. I mean, I guess I'll do my deception.
You said you were not cheating.
No,
Yeah.
I am not cheating,
Okay.
and I will use one of my luckies.
That's cheating.
That is not cheating. That is a skill. That is part of my abilities. All right, 21.
Just.
I know
All
that
right.
was a horrible roll.
So the first round has definitely gone to you. You're up. Not the first round, but the first round. You know.
Yeah.
And two of the competitors have been all in. And there are only 8 remaining, and the press is, doing little writings and doing little flash reports in front of their hover camera thingies or whatever they have, their magical stuff. Lots of noise, and we'll say that because this is a highly promoted event, there is a gallery of people watching and chit chatting and stuff, and people are having fun and drinks and food all around that you've paid for.
Is there someone else in the place that can read minds?
Well, you're
Me.
not
Mhm.
here, but you
Oh,
wouldn't know
that's
that.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I would assume we would have all the precautions would have been taken, so everyone knows that this game is completely above board.
Sure. That's fine. Let's see. Next round. 8 players remaining. Go ahead.
All right. 27.
Okay.
Ooh.
Let's see. Lord Plentywin has a very bad run,
Oh my
Aw.
goodness.
but even though she doesn't beat you, Lady. Let's see. What's a good name, Bill? Give me a name for Lady.
Flint skin.
No. We already have that.
Oh, skin. You don't have. You have skin flint.
No, we'll go with Lady Full of Bosoms.
Lady.
Yeah.
Full of bosom. Oh my.
Yeah. The one of the main players has a really bad run. In the end, you're more up, but Lady Full of Bosom is doing pretty well herself. We lose 3 players out, including one of the major players. So you're only down to you and her, really. Right? Because you're a professional gambler. So now we're down to 5 players, and things are heating up. People are talking, and all kind of conversations going. This new upstart, Lord Terador. I heard they call him Tater. I think he's a devil worshiper. All that's going on. Okay, and
Okay.
old-fashioned absinthe is going around the room, which is not a good thing.
Yep.
Round 3.
Okay. For this round, I am going to intentionally, just to keep have the other people in the room save face. I'm
Fold.
going to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna intent. I'm not gonna make it look like I'm gonna fail, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Not
I'm
cheat
like,
at fail, just fail. Yeah, I get you.
yeah, just yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll give her a roll anyway. Lady Full of Bosom.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Now that works slightly against you. You're still in the game, but
Yeah.
she has a killer run.
That
And actually, she wipes out the other 3 people, and she's up on you. She's up on you.
okay.
So it's only you 2 left after this round. Half of the people who were playing have gone off to chambers have been made available to them. The other
Yeah.
half still here watching. The crowd is quite boisterous and loud right now, but everyone's having a good time. And Lady Full of Bosom, who is true to her namesake, is trying to use all her feminine wiles on you, sir. All of them.
Oh man.
Give me a wisdom roll.
All right. I'm guessing this is a save of some kind. All right. So I have a +8 to that. 15.
She is a lovely woman.
Hmm.
She comes from very good stock.
Hmm.
There could be a future there.
There could be. I am. Yeah. Yeah. No. There's. Well, I'd have to see a picture of her first.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So effectively, her using her wiles on you, she gives you disadvantage because you have advantage. So therefore, you are at a straight
Great
roll
roll.
now. So straight roll, round 4, last round.
All right.
Last round. So go ahead and make your roll. Nice.
Oh
Nice.
yes.
I need a 20, basically.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
oh boy.
That was so
boy.
good.
Oh boy. Um, you guys going back and forth. This actually goes for 2 hours between the two of you. And some of the crowd does melt away, but others are deep in their cups.
Mm-hmm.
As we've gone late into the night, still many of the press are there, watching eagerly, although everyone's all black-eyed and tired. But in the end, she ends you, all in, meaning she puts all her money in, and you're able to win the round, and therefore empty it. She smiles and winks at you. Your heart goes flutter, flutter, and but all's good in love and war.
Mm-hmm.
So you win the pot. So what is that? 20 million.
Yes, it is.
All right, and later the next day, the next evening, because everyone needs to sleep, you do have a private meeting with these people, and therefore you have ideas, and you would like their investment, I'm assuming. So talk to the
Yes,
room, and then we'll have a roll. Now the roll won't be as good as it could have been because you won.
that's true. I'm sure I'll take some sort of negative, but persuasion still persuasion.
It is.
Um, okay, so I'm going to, ladies and gentlemen, I have a wonderful proposition for you, business for you. I know you are all great and wonderful business people, and I start laying out my whole spiel in my most charismatic way of, basically this frontier has already been profitable, but now with the Death Speakers, we have so much more value can be gained here. I'm talking about building a railroad, but not just a railroad, a an entire trade network, a whatever sort of businesses that will, I'll give a list. I want to do like a gambling hall and stuff, but that's me personally. All these people are probably into their own separate things, and I did a bunch of research on them before, so I kind of talked to them each individually about like, hey, you are into this thing. I can help you get an in over here. We are building a brand new settlement town right on the edge of commerce with this, you know, incredible empire that, incredible people, right? Because I'm assuming they know it's an empire, right? From the book and all that stuff, or what have you. But whatever, like, yeah, the public information that's all cleared. I speak about, but yeah, I basically say we have the Thysian Kingdom, and we have the Death Speakers, who are incredibly wealthy and have incredible uh, resources that we could utilize, and let's be honest, get filthy rich. So
Okay.
I
So
give I give
what?
my whole spiel.
Right, but let me break it down. And
Yeah,
what exactly is it that you want to build, thus for
I
needing investment?
personally want to build a railroad
Okay.
connection through through Sazale and to Cade's Ruins, and potentially beyond, to connect this lucrative trading network.
Right, which couldn't happen until the resolution of Bellatrix.
That's true, but we're getting there.
And it would take years anyway to build the railroad all the way anyway. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but all right, so mainly you want to build. Your proposition is you want to build a railroad beyond what the empire itself is doing into the
Yeah.
Zale, and then into this Cage Ruin, which is a new town that you and your friends are proposing and building, and you already have investment. I'm assuming you're saying to them, but
Mm-hmm.
you want more investment to build this new town that would be a midpoint between the Death Speakers and Iron Pass. And some of them are inquiring about potential investment in Iron Pass and Thizale itself.
I'm perfectly open to all potential suggestions here. Uh, if anyone gives any specific things like what they want from there, because I know I want to open up gambling halls in different areas, right? Expand on Wonderland, and add like an actual gambling section, and also, yeah, build out like a gambling hall out in uh, this new town that we're building.
Sure.
Um, so that's my end of it. But I understand that all these different people have their own specific interests, And so I'm going to,
And none of them are interested in that stuff.
yeah.
These people are more interested in warehouses,
Hmm.
hotels, things like that. More infrastructural things other than entertainment.
And
These are not those
yeah,
people. And besides, when it comes to expanding Wonderland, you know who you have to speak to.
I know, and that's all my end of things, right? Well, for
Right.
them, for their end of the investment, I'm basically asking them to help build up the towns, to help add what like hotels work, whatever their particular interests are. I want that to bring them in and take a cut of that. Is essentially my goal.
Yeah, I get you. You want to help. You want them to help build the railroad and the town. You want investment.
Yeah,
Now, this is with conversations with the other Iron Company members. The town thing is a little bit at odds, though,
mm,
because their conversations were involved with the two barons being involved in investment, not
yeah,
outsiders.
that is true.
You are complicating things.
That's true. But I mean, we have smaller paths, but here's the thing, we don't necessarily have to well then again too, we could build up the port, you know,
Could do
and
that.
essentially create like a port access through because I mean that lake is being really underutilized for trade.
It is. It is.
So,
So okay. So you basically want to gain their investment in the growth of this valley beyond the mountain. Okay,
mhm,
and that's kind of what these people do anyway. They are all entrepreneurs. You hunted them specifically, and of course, they all have contacts and money beyond that. And of course, these kind of things become very sticky wickets.
yeah,
That's a cricket
I get
reference for all of you who don't know. You don't need to know because cricket's just a picnic game
it.
anyway. It's not important. But nevertheless,
Not a real sport.
it's no. It's a
Yeah.
picnic. Yeah. Anyway, give me a
Okay.
roll.
All right, persuasion roll. Gotcha. Oh my god. Okay, well no, I can't. Damn it. Oh no, wait. I only used 2 of my luckies, didn't I? Yes, I couldn't use the
How
last
many
one.
luckies do you get
3. I get 3.
every day?
Yes. All right. One more. Holy crap! I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I took a wasted round that time. Well, 19. That's better than a natural 1, so I'll take it.
Well, natural one's automatic failure.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'll take it.
They're lukewarm,
Hmm.
and they want to see some manner of progress happening before they're willing to get involved. But their ears are open and they're willing to talk to you again in the future. But right now they're hesitant and they want to see involvement, which means they want to see you spend money. And you just got 20 million, so
And I'm going to.
very well.
I would suggest financing
Sassy.
or investing that money through to open our new stock market, friend.
That's true. That is a good idea. Also, another thing too that I want to do, Chester.
Hmm.
Um, is there anyone high enough level, any wizards that I can pay to? Because have we established that is there a permanent teleportation circle in the Magi's Tower or no?
No, but those things do exist, but they are highly regulated and they are
Mhm.
ridiculously expensive. It would be better for you to try to extend the train and
Yeah.
potentially bring in some of the airy type of magical technologies.
How
Um,
much would one of those cost?
what?
I know they'd be really expensive, but
What? A
the
permanent teleportation gate?
no the airships.
Oh, those things cost, like $1 million, million and a
Oh
half,
wow.
right?
Then yeah, I would do
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I
I'll
could
go in 50 with you.
bypass
That's very small. If
everything.
you go with the bigger ones, they're more like 20, 30 million.
Oh, you
But
have 20.
that's a small one. However, that kind of conversation should probably bleed over more with the Baron,
Yeah, fair
because
enough.
the Gordati technology is way better.
That's a good point. Yeah, well, I mean, I'll hold
But
off on
that
that
can't come
because I
in
mean,
yet because they
why
haven't.
not?
It has not merged into this
It
society
hasn't.
yet.
Well, you guys need to deal
So,
with the Malatrix problem,
yeah.
and then that's going to happen. That's the linchpin to all of this, as far
Well,
as
this is
the
the
geopolitics. Um,
introductory thing
yeah. No,
between.
I get it. And working with the builders, and of course, being a lord of Iron Pass, you definitely have access to these people.
Mhm.
And looking toward investing and extending the incoming train further onto Thizale and then onto Cades. Is certainly conversations you can have, but you need to go have an actual conversation with the king of Thizale himself.
Yeah, fair
Right,
enough. This is all just once again preliminary.
right.
Um,
So
but
okay, all right,
yeah,
good.
and one
So
last thing is buying a few things is some, but we can do that later if you want, or off screen if you want. But yeah, I did want to buy some items before.
like what?
So I would
Staff of the
assume with my
Magi? No.
no, that I can't. I no legendary stuff, but you did say if I have connections, I can get access to very rare stuff in the past. It's just not like
Sure.
publicly
Tell
gonna
me
be a
what you
thing.
want. Stop hemming
Uh
and hawing.
oh, sorry. I'm gonna well since I got the money, illusionist bracers and a staff of power.
Okay.
All right, cool. And yeah, does anyone else in the party, since I did come out here with our funds to buy stuff for everyone, what did everyone else? What was everyone else looking at? I did send you a thing
Me and
before.
you discussed the thing, but that's on a
You,
different. That's not what money.
yeah, you and I directly talked with you about it.
Yeah. And what did you want, Puffin?
The ring of spell storing, and there was one other item that I left to you. If I need, oh, Chester,
Mm.
is the sword I'm using? When you said that it's super light, does that mean that I can potentially wield it in one hand, or?
Well, the sword you have, the damage it does is different whether it's one-handed or two-handed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's you have a hand and a half sword, right? So if you wield it
Uh-huh.
one-handed, it's a D8 weapon. If you wield it two-handed, it's a 2D6 weapon, right?
Okay. Um, then I'll then GOP that shield, the
Oh
ring
no,
and the
no. What
shield.
am I talking about? No, Black Razor is a two-handed sword.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like I would be surprised if it wasn't,
No,
but
it's a
yeah.
two-handed sword. No, it isn't about the weight. It's about the combat style. It's a two-way. It's
Okay.
a two-handed weapon. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'd need
Well,
the animated shield.
yeah, if you have the attunement slot, I can get you that as your choice. And well, you know what? Here we can do this. I mean, since I have access to this stuff, anyways,
Mm-hmm.
we can do all this stuff offline
Sure,
and not
sure.
because we only have like 2 minutes left, anyways.
Right.
But yeah, and I don't want to eat up any more time. So see, I'm not trying to steal all the time.
No,
It's
I
got
thought that
the
was fine.
muscle.
All
Yeah.
right. So, today was a good cleanup day. Like I said, this is traditional D&D, especially when the characters get to this level, building into the community and being part of the community. Because we're in the middle of something, but in the old D&D games, it wouldn't be uncommon for months to pass between campaigns or even years, right?
Wow.
These days, they because WotC has done everything in their power to make D&D a video game, and fourth edition is the ugliest example of that. But
Yep.
that's what they are trying to do, and they've had some success. To be fair, they brought in a whole nother side that never existed inside of D&D. Now they're all a bunch of vapid blue hairs, but still. Everyone is welcome, even though they don't agree. But D&D is not what it used to be. And
Mm.
this kind of gameplay is very, very, very D&D, right? So
Cool.
I'm very happy with today. And to end today, it's very simple.
Mhm.
For the past month, everyone's been very busy in their own various
Mm.
ideas and actions, including the major overall of healing 69 people and the legend that it becomes. Because resurrection exists, but for most people, it's outside the realm of possibility, right? Especially because the people who can cast that spell are so rare, right? Um,
Hello.
but this has really put the Iron Company on the map. The whole world, this world, knows who you are. There are people writing unofficial autobiographies that have never spoken to you. There are all kinds of art and all manner of things talking about the Iron Company and Iron Pass, and 99.9% of it is all untrue, right?
Yeah.
So there have been wonderful things written about you that are untrue, and there have been absolutely horrible things that have been written about you that are untrue, including Tater having orgies with demons, which is probably true.
Oh,
Mm,
Not true yet.
scandalous! I'm going to sue that newspaper.
You should,
mm,
you
mm,
should.
mm.
But
Libel.
Do
that's what.
anybody that writes a book about me?
Honestly, you're probably the person that you and Tower are the people that least are being talked about because you're a very unknown quantity. Whereas
Good.
anybody can go talk to anyone in Iron Pass and they have all kind of stories about the kids, right?
All the changes they
Knew
got.
they were always going to be famous someday. Huh?
Right, of course. There's so many of that. Although Garth Blummet is like, but he's
Hey,
happy
it's
with his
good.
sandwiches. But anyway, during that month, there was a little vile creature who, through various bits of information you guys were able to gather, mainly from Dandelion herself, um, the lair of the dragon. And this little demon, or devil, excuse me, has been over there scouting it out. He has died a total of 17 times.
Makes sense.
But of course, he can't permanently die. But during his time and the annoyance of constantly having to resummon him, he has gained this information about the lair. One, 7 groups have tried to enter the mountain. None have come out. So there are people trying to, hit on that, but they've all failed. Um, he knows that there are at least 5 or 6 wormlings,
What
a
are wormlings?
Nice.
baby dragons.
Yeah.
There are a couple of young adult dragons. He thinks there might be an adult, maybe, but for sure, the matron of the mountain is
Yeah.
ancient.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be so much fun.
So, speaking of consorts,
Right. I found my new wife.
Okay.
I'm going to seduce the dragon.
Oh no.
you're not a bard.
I know I'm not a bard. I can't do that.
Anyway, so you know where the lair is, and you know it is inhabited. You also know that that's a brutal fight, dude. That is what is the CR for a layered ancient dragon? It's like
I know for
27.
for a regular ancient dragon, it's 24. Oh, it's
Yeah, so
24.
it's like
So,
27. I don't
yeah.
know. I mean, you guys are tough, but boy, howdy. That's you. I get not only do I get with her, I get all of her legendary actions. I also get layer actions, and there are multiple other dragons who are going to have. I don't not necessarily. It's not the same as her, but they're going to have extra abilities as well. That is a brutal fight. So the question I have for the group is this: before we end today, do I set up for a layer fight next week?
No.
No.
Yes, yes, yes.
No.
No.
Okay.
Vote.
It's going to be so much fun.
Well, you've just been outvoted.
I know I have been. I was looking forward to the dragon, the probably TPK dragon fight.
Well, the
I know.
profit
Oh,
would
I'm
be
not gonna die.
immense. Would be immense.
If we
But
fight them all at the same time, it would be
well,
ridiculous. We couldn't do it.
it's a layer campaign, right?
Yeah.
And however many weeks that would take, you're in layer, right? So I don't know how long it would take, but it could be quick, it could be long. But yeah, it's a CR 27.
I
Yeah.
honestly think we have more
I'd have to roll a
pressing
natural 20 to
matters.
hit
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Well, as I really want to, but we can wait. I feel like this should be the capstone of our adventure.
Well, the good thing
Right
about it
here.
being a CR 27 is the fact that nobody else is going to take it.
That's
Mhm.
true.
Yeah.
All right. So we wait until we've got a few more levels under our belt. We've finished our main quest, and then when we're done with that quest, though, at the very least, at the end of this campaign, I want to do this because it'd be so cool.
Yep. I'll try to put a little extra time and set it up. Of course, the more time I have, the more deadly it'll be. It'll be great.
Good.
I'm fine with that. If
Hey,
it's
maybe the ancient one will die of old disease.
No, that ain't happening. So all right. So the question for before we leave out of here today is, what is the action next week? What are we doing? So I can prepare.
we were
flood a tower.
talking
Land.
about
Flood a
it,
tower. Yeah.
and you know what? We might go with your suggestion about getting Wetton, because the more we think about it, like Wetton probably knows, or he might know the location of the Emperor. So if we get him first before we try and take out the prince, at the very least, I mean, yes, we would have him as a bargaining chip, but we would have two really high quality investigators to probe his mind. So
And we also have a lot more reputation with that city now. Craig Mora?
I
We
think
do.
they still hate us.
No,
Oh,
no,
they don't?
no, no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
Oh,
no. The
no.
prince hates you. That's for sure.
Mhm.
But that the stories are going throughout, and of course, be rest assured that the Baron is making sure that the people know.
Okay.
He's playing propaganda as well, right? That's really what he
Really?
does.
All
So
right, so our
yes,
score
your Craig Mora renown is high. It's amazing
490.
what they've done, etc., etc. Um, but okay, so we're going to do the raid.
No,
Mhm.
no, no. The raid is going to be at the end. We voted no on that.
No, no,
We
no.
are.
The
Oh,
movie,
okay. I'm sorry.
the movie, the raid.
Flood.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I thought you meant the dragon one. I'm like, I thought I got outvoted.
hotel
Um,
fight, hotel fight.
yeah, 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 yeah.
All right.
All right.
So make sure that all of you have your plan on how we're getting Wetton. I'm glad we have a goal, but what is your plan to do it? Of course, it won't come to fruition, but what is your plan, right?
Infiltration.
Yeah, just make sure it's all laid out, and next week we'll
Yep.
get to it. All right, very good. Does anyone have any questions or statements before we say sign off here?
I did want to involve the king and make contact with them and
Oh, that's
update
right.
him on
I'm sorry.
certain
You do
things.
need to do that. So, what do you go meet with Lady Sundu? And lovely young lady, even though she's a spy. And what information do you give her?
I would like to see His Highness and see if we can't negotiate their induction into the group of the knowledge base with the King of Altarian Empire.
So, be
Using
more
using my
specific. What you were.
I
What
want
you?
to I want to use my influence in the kingdom and renown to get the king a seat at the table, so I don't have to do this bullshit anymore and
So
get
you
my
want to
title.
connect the dots. I see.
Yep.
Um. All right. She will relay that information. Anybody
Okay.
else? Remind me of
No, I
that
don't.
next week, please, Bill.
Well, I mean, technically, I'm building a religion and building it bigger, so
Well,
I need to.
that's
He still
happening.
got to build the first time first.
I know Lisa was saying that she was your character was hoping that was trying to work with some of the dwarfs in your artificer circle.
Yes. Okay. I'm hoping to I'm hoping to find a way to synthesize diamonds to help that could help reduce the.
No, it's already
No?
done anyway. It's done.
We got so basically she's just looking for a way to kind of mass produce and help make medicine more accessible
Well,
and
that's fine.
traveling
But the
between
diamond
one
thing
place.
not doable. Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's
Sure.
cool.
Some of the best
So,
diamonds there are.
yeah, but she's just always looking for a way to try and make things more automated and getting
Yeah, I
stuff
get that.
from where it
I
is
get
to where
that.
it needs to be.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I get
Absolutely.
that. And of course, she has her business, which of course is booming. And do keep in mind all those roles you girls are supposed to be doing. Keep in mind all of that. The numbers you're getting is times 100, right? Because
Oh,
that number is in D&D gold pieces, right? And so everything
oh,
is
okay.
times 5, right? I mean, excuse me, times 100 because we're dealing with dollars, not gold pieces, right?
I will
So
write this.
just keep that in mind. But yeah, she should be making all her rolls, and she should. She must be sitting on millions.
Yep. She's doing all right. That's in a separate book, but we will look it up. But
Yeah.
okay, so that sounds like that's been doing great. Now if she wanted to build something that would let her move stuff around, like I know she's been wanting to build like a an adventuring cart, like a self-driving wagon or something like that that can move like stores of stuff to locations that might need it. Is that something she could be working toward?
Well, probably she either wants to go toward the flying ships, which do exist,
Mhm.
or
Okay.
talking to the Gordati
Mm.
because their technology is far superior in this way. And
And I
honestly, her being
Mhm.
getting into a different business and potentially, and the Gordati are going to be tight-lipped about many things. But if she can coordinate with them and get some information, she could be kind of the corner of the market on this new flying technology that could be brought in. So that's definitely something but we would have to involve conversations, which aren't really going to happen until we deal with the Bellatrix problem.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, awesome. Because they've got so much technology. I'm sure when Erin came home, she told her sister about it, and she just kind of looked dazzled for a moment. Like,
She
I can.
wasn't given a gag order.
Hmm? Was that in the contract? I
Nope.
read it.
Nope.
Okay.
Really? Okay.
Nope.
We'll
Because
All
she
right.
see.
saw things, but does she know what they are? Not really. Right. And besides, the Gordati are opening up, and they saw it as an opportunity to use this paladin who can be trusted because, it's a paladin,
Yeah.
right?
They
Cool.
can't. They don't. Mm-mm. They're almost annoyingly honest and straightforward.
Right. And you don't realize it, but whilst you were in the capital, which I need to flesh out the Gordati more in my head. But your mind was being read. You just don't know it.
Oh, and also another thing that we didn't think of, like, I'm surprised the Emperor had didn't want to talk with us or anything, like, after we just kind of saved his lucrative, outpost. But
Well,
maybe that's a future episode thing, you
maybe.
know?
Maybe.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Keep in mind that you guys have all your little plans and you think they're highfalutin. Y- Yeah, you're not.
Things are fixing to change.
You aren't that level, dude. And there are conversations going on well, well, well above you. Of
Oh,
Hmm.
course,
I'm sure.
things will
As long as
unfold,
we
but
can
that's
help
my
people.
job, not yours.
Yeah.
Right.
And I do need to write that down. I am calling the Parisian city Dulpier, right? That's what I named it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what you said.
So I need to make sure I put that in. All right.
Up here.
Anything else?
The only thing we need to deal with is XP, I
Something.
think.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, no, we'll get
We're
that
doing
done out
fine.
of. We'll get that done. Also, what kind of discounts do I get now that we have like 500 renown? I don't
I
even
don't know.
know.
Go look up renown. It's in the book. Um. All right. So anybody else?
I probably have similar questions, but I'll ask you next time.
Or
Yeah,
off? I'm still live, so
offline.
I'm
Yeah.
just trying to get offline. All right, guys.
Just get
Thank you
offline.
all very much. We'll see you next week, where this will continue. We're going to raid a hotel. Nice.
So it's like
Actually, we're
Ocean's
gonna flood
11 or
one.
something.
Well, I don't know that that's what your
Yeah.
plan is,
Well,
but be prepared. Anyway,
we'll
thank you all
discuss.
very much, and yeah, later.
Time to say goodbye.
Oh
Good
God, outro.
Goodbye. Uh huh.